Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
All right, welcome to the Brink of Sanity, episode 221. We have Rob Briscoe from the Uncanny X-Cast on for the first time in 6 years. How you doing, Rob?
Good. How are you doing? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. It's been 6 years, which means you've done, what, 7 episodes of the Uncanny X-Cast?
I think we cranked out a good 10 in that time period. We've been really cruising along.
What's going on, man? It's no good.
Not a whole lot. Just usual. I have kids now, so I think trying to remember last time I was on, I probably had one child and he was really young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different world now. You don't have kids, do you?
No, I don't. But when we started this, Marc, my regular co-host, had no kids, and now he has 2. So I've kind of gone through the growing pains, knowing we record until the baby starts crying, and then the show's over, and you know.
Good. I can commiserate with him when he gets here.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably just got home, and now he's trying to get his kids to bed, and they're just wreaking havoc on his life.
So I have a structural question for you here.
Okay.
I am looking at a chat room right now.
Yes.
And you were telling me this is a live podcast.
We
now.
just started doing the show live. Yes.
How is that working out?
It's pretty much the worst. First of all, every time Marc would talk, I would like to play Candy Crush to entertain myself. And now he could see me doing that, so that totally throws off my game. I have to be self-conscious. You know, I can't sit here sweating with no shirt on. Now I have to look semi-presentable.
Yeah, that's honestly the fact that people are listening at the same time doesn't bother me as much. But and full disclosure, I'm not on video right now, so I'm not falling into this. But I couldn't look at my co-host the whole time. I don't know. That seems so awkward.
Oh, I don't look at him
get used
at
to
all.
it?
No, I cover the window up. I always have an internet window or something up. I don't look at Marc at all.
Interesting. So you're there. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, no, I don't think he looks at me either.
Okay, that's if there's a unilateral understanding that no one's looking at anyone, I'd be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just feel so judged the whole time. I mean, once it's out there, it is what it is, and you can kind of live with that. But I know that would make me more awkward as it went on.
It's just an extra thing to make the podcast even harder to do.
Sure.
I can't pick my nose. I can't scratch. It's it's weird. It's very weird.
Just lighting concerns. No one needs. Yeah. What do you do? Why?
Well, people were asking if we were going to do live shows, and I said, we'll do live shows, but we need this program to do split window. It costs $300. People donated $300, so now
that's awesome.
Now we feel obligated to do it, but then you realize all the problems that come with it. I have a mirror behind me, and before the mirror was a little to the left, and the first time we did a show, I didn't realize that it was angled just right so that it was reflecting my bald spot back into the cam. So
that's great.
Yeah. So the second episode, I threw a shirt over it, and everyone was asking why there's a random shirt on my wall, and
it's just hanging.
Yeah. So now I'm sitting directly behind it. Right before we went on, we have a clothes drying thing, and my girlfriend had left all her underwear drying on there. So we almost had that in the background this episode, but crisis averted.
See, I think that would help things though.
Maybe for them, maybe not.
Yeah,
for me.
not for you or your relationship. But
No. Especially Jay did a video. Let's see what's on the YouTube. Oh my god!
Oh, look at this! Everyone knows what kind of panties I wear.
Yeah, she would ever listen to this. So as Steve says, don't be afraid of the camera. It doesn't matter what you look like. I still masturbate. So thank you.
Oh, Jesus. This is another thing. I'm going to get so distracted by this chat now.
Well, I'm also glad that Marc does not look at the chat, because he'll literally stop mid-sentence and just start reading. He's
just
completely incapable of managing 2 things at once.
It's cool though. I like the fact that it can change, after a while. I mean, what you guys have done 200 episodes. At a certain point, you not that you're I don't want to say autopilot. That's a horrible thing to say, but like it gets harder to think of stuff to talk about sometimes
Well, that's why we figured out 3 is the magic number for this show.
because you have a wild card.
We have a wild card plus different personalities. You know.
Oh, that's right. You have like a stable of regulars, right?
Yeah. Well, I do, but then people fall in and out of favor. My goal is to have 4 regulars and have each one do 1 a week.
Oh, cool.
That's like never worked out ever, but that's what ideally that's what I'd like to do. And each one has a different personality, so it's like a different show. Some like one guy likes to do prank calls, different things.
Wait, did you just imply that you do more than one of these a week?
Well, lately since I've been in school, we've been alternating weeks. So we'll do this 1 week and then the next one. The next
Okay,
week.
okay. Right.
But starting next year, I want to do this weekly and also the next one weekly. So yeah, that would be.
That's
2
a
shows
key.
week.
Don't you think that this is like a running argument on my near extinct podcast? Like that is, I don't listen to anything. This is so hypocritical coming from me, but I don't listen to anything irregular podcast wise. Like that, I'll dump a show in no time if it gets irregular.
Yeah, I think that's part of my problem. I think people like not only regular, but like weekly, if not more.
Like to where all of my favorites are ones that I know to the day. Like, oh, cool, that's the day that the CADcast comes out. Great, and then you just kind of are prepared for it. I don't know.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, I'll also drop a show if they do it too much. Like, I was listening to one show and they were doing it like 5 days a week, like 2-hour shows a day, and I'm like, I can't listen to you 10 hours a week.
No, and I have a 2-hour commute, 1 hour each way every day, and that I still feel the same way. Like 1 a week is all I can keep up with on about like 7 shows.
Right, and with our comic book collecting, it's like we have to listen to every episode. We can't just skip around and.
No, we are trapped in our anxiety-ridden comic collector world. Are you still? So where are you at with comics these days?
Let's see. I'm almost up to date with Walking Dead.
Okay.
I read volume 22, so I'm 1 volume behind. And then
I think what was 22 called? Putting me on the spot.
I can't see it from here.
That's fine. I think I either finished 21 or 22. I can't remember which the last one was.
Okay.
You still into that?
Yeah, it's still awesome. The last one I read was kind of like one of those resetting trades, so it was kind of slow, but I think it's been good pretty much the whole way through.
Me too. It's still for the few knocks I have against it as it's going on. To be that far along and me still be like that invested in the characters, it's still probably my favorite.
Might be my favorite comic ever.
I would argue that same thing. I mean, it's just so different. It's so dumb to say it's different because it's zombies and there's nothing different about zombies anymore. But
yeah, but
I don't know.
I don't know. It's more about the people.
Yeah, and I'm just really starting to live in that world of like, it's that book has changed my comic reading more than anything else. In that now I almost exclusively want to read single title, straight through. Here's the one book you need to read for this comic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got real into Scalped. I got into like a lot of that kind of stuff lately. Whereas the Marvel stuff that you got to really keep up with, I'm definitely falling out of.
You don't like keeping track of like 40 different books?
No, I can't. I mean, I have a show where I'm supposed to do it, and I still can't do it, which is a bad sign. I mean, that's just not. I don't know. I'm hoping this reset gets me back excited about it, but like nothing I'm reading about that makes me think that's going to be true.
It sounds terrible. I mean, I'm way behind. I was listening to your current episodes, and then I started from reading from the beginning, from like 1963 on.
Okay.
So when I caught up to where you started the show, I started listening to your show over, so I could actually know what you were talking about during like the on shows. So
were you reading all the titles?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm skipping like some solos. So, like if I look up a one shot or a mini and it gets terrible reviews, I'll skip that. But
yeah,
I'm reading
that's kind of what we do.
Pretty much everything.
Gosh.
And there's a lot of shit.
And it just gets worse and worse. I mean, it just keeps expanding on itself. It's brutal.
Yeah. So now I'm on like episode 60 for you, which is like 2009. So
yeah, that's when we were still good. I like it. I shouldn't say that on the show.
We're
really great. Everyone should listen.
So yeah, it's I mean, there's some good ones, but Young X-Men is just killing.
Atrocious.
It's probably
that's
the worst.
The one with Ink, right?
Yeah, Ink and Grey Milk, and it's the worst comic. I read the whole run just to get it out of the way. Like, I'm trying to read along with your episodes, but I'm like, I have to finish this because it's such shit. I don't even want it hanging over my head.
That's probably the single worst. I'm sure there's worse like arcs and things like that, but that's probably one of the only X-Men series of all time that there's not one good thing to say about it.
No, not. I mean,
it's across the board fucking horrific,
and the art sucks. There's nothing good about it.
Awful.
So yeah, I'm glad to get that one out of the way. But if I remember correctly, you guys soured on New Mutants pretty quickly. So
yeah, it was okay. What are you reading? Like, what else do you keep up with?
Not much really. I was reading Saga, but he'll come out with 6 issues and then take 6 months off. So I'm like waiting to like for a couple trades to come out for that one.
I'm kind of in this. I'm not caught up, but I read that like once a year. I'll read one trade on that, so I'm kind of pacing it out. I like it. It's good. That fits that same category.
So I that's all I'm doing right now because I'm just trying to catch up on X-Men. But I want to read Chew, which I heard was very good. And,
I liked Chew.
My buddy just suggested Empire. Not really sure what that is.
I don't know if I know that.
And yeah, that's about it right now. What about you?
I'm trying to think. Mainly just I've been trying again for the show. I've been trying to keep up with the Marvel stuff. I started this weird like this. I get in these funks and I just want to like get pulled out by something completely off the wall, which Scalp did for me. Southern Bastards, I really like the Jason Aaron. It's really insular. I don't know how much people really would like this, but because I live in Alabama and Jason Aaron wrote basically like a love-hate story for the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like Alabama football centric. It's got a very Bear Bryant-esque character in it, but it's still in that Jason Aaron tone. That's been pretty good. But I started this book called The Mercenary Sea. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's insane. It takes place in like 1939, and it's this group of like. It doesn't even make sense when you say it. It's like this ragtag group of like mercenary soldiers who stole a Japanese submarine, and they're kind of like just going around the ocean doing stuff, but it ties into, of course, like all the World War II history. But it's got like a real Indiana Jones-ish vibe to it. But the art style's like incredible. It's all, I think the whole thing's done digitally, but it's pretty, I'm kind of digging it just because, again, it's like just a non-genre. Like, unless you're buying comics in 1952, this genre has ceased to exist.
So it's like a serious C-Lab 2021?
No, it's very, the tone is very Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Like it's got that style lead character. Every woman he runs into is in love with him. They do these little missions. It's not great. Like I don't think people should like run out and read it. But like that's just, if anything, that just shows how bleak I think my comic reading has gotten, that just so much of everything feels exactly the same as it always has.
Yeah.
And it's just the older you get, the harder it is to remedy that with something new and exciting.
Yeah. I've been switching to novels more and more lately.
What kind of, like, fiction or?
Yeah. I'm a big fiction guy. Like Nelson DeMille is my favorite.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
can we just talk about him for like 2 hours after this?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite Nelson DeMille book?
Lion's Game.
Oh, okay. That I would put that top 3. I have a real soft. This question's so tough.
Yeah, he's got like 20 books now.
I know. I don't want to say something out loud and be wrong. I have a real soft spot, and I'm blanking on the name too. The Russian one.
Charm School.
Charm School.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was like one of the first ones I read.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a real soft spot for that. But they're all so good. Like I don't think has there ever been. Spencerville was not that great.
I think the worst one I read was Upcountry.
Oh, the Vietnam one?
Yeah, I just thought it was too much. Like I'm just gonna walk around and remember shit. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a good amount of that. That's definitely in there. I like that setting, so I was okay with that. But his stuff, what was the latest one?
Was it? Radiant Angel?
That was actually not. Did you read that?
No, not yet.
it's not that great.
Yeah.
I knew there was a downer in there.
He's going downhill because I just read the Panther and I wasn't thrilled with that one either.
Panther was a lot better than Radiant Angel. Radiant Angel's plot is like so razor thin. I don't know. It's just not very good. I didn't read that other. Did you see he went back and rewrote a book that he had written before he had written any of the books that we know?
Yeah, I have that on my shelf right now. I'm like scared to pick it up.
Me too. I'm like, I feel like the downhill slide he's on plus that might just do me in on him, and I can't bear to have that happen.
He's in a free fall right now.
Yeah,
his first like 15 books are amazing though.
But I can't find. This is my fiction reading game has turned into comparing everyone to Nelson DeMille, and I'm still even when they're going down. Like, have you found any authors that you think are comparable in the way that you feel when you read one of his books?
Not really, no.
Like, I just like that. I know he's got different characters, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
I just like that character so much, and like the good mix of solid book like that mixed with the sarcasm and all like the funny stuff in there.
Yeah.
And just nobody hits that for me.
Marc has joined us.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. We're talking about books.
Awesome. I like books.
It's not comic books, which I heard. So we're like at least trending in the right direction.
I just got a message from Steven, our fan, saying, "Where the fuck are you?"
He's like,
That's not a good sign at all.
Just put your kids in the goddamn freezer. You've got a show to do. Thank you, Steven. I really appreciate that. I was at a holiday dinner for Rosh Hashanah because the people of the Jewish faith, like myself, have to celebrate tonight. But now I am back for the important things in life, like Break a Sanity podcast.
all right.
Yeah, Robert, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well.
We tried to get all the comic stuff out of the way for you.
Yeah, comics. I don't really care about them. But you guys, I know you're big in the comics, so we can talk a lot about comics. I will just try to add something to the conversation.
Do you know that I gave Marc 4 trades of Walking Dead and he kept it for a year and a half and didn't read a page?
Have you ever read comics, or is it just like?
I've just never really read comics.
I'm not. In fairness, when you hear like the first part of this conversation, we definitely. It doesn't sound like we're that into comics either.
Right. But I mean, we've read like thousands, literally.
True. That's true.
I think at one point when I was a little kid, I bought some comics and I was going to read them, and then I was like, "Oh, instead of reading them, I'll just save them, and maybe they'll be worth a lot of money one day." And they were never worth any money, and I never really read them, and I never got in the comics.
Are you into like the comic stuff that the world has turned into now? Like,
I was in the comic strips. I read Garfield the comic, and I read The Far Side. That's as close as I ever got to your world. Kind of related.
What about the movies now? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I would. You would think I'd be. I was excited. Like, it sounds like something that I would really be into, but I haven't been that into it. I like the Superman story. I like the Batman story. Some of the X-Men stuff. I like when they made the Thor movie. I was like, oh, apparently I don't give a shit about Thor.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
The Green Lantern. Oh, no one else had ever heard of him either. So some of the stuff sounds like if it was on TNT and I was sitting around doing nothing, I'd probably care more about it. The other thing, the factor that kind of screws it up for me in some ways, or maybe it'll enhance it later. So I have kids, and so they take up a lot of time. So I stop caring about a lot of things in the world because I have kids. Not because you're like, oh, kids are should be the focus of the world. It's more that you're so goddamn tired half the time that the little energy you have is focuses on the kids, and you forget about everything else going on in the world. So you get
yeah, I have 2 little ones too, and I'm the same. Like me and Brian on our podcast, like one of the running jokes at this point is we'll ask each other what we're up to, and your time has disappeared in a way. And again, I'm the same way, not in like we're doing so many important things with our children, just in a what the fuck happened. Yeah, 2 weeks have passed by, and I have nothing to say about anything I've done in my life.
It's like I'll turn to my wife and go, hey, what did we do last weekend? And she'll be like, good trivia question. You got me.
Does it make you look back on like the weekends before you have kids and think, holy shit, like how did we even fill all this time?
Yeah, it makes you really wonder what you did because your day, whatever you like it or not, your day is just like action packed. You're always doing something. If you're sitting around, you're doing something. You're playing with your kids, and so the day feels really used. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do with my time during? Jay, what do you do with your time, Jay?
I go to school.
No, I mean on the weekend. You have a Saturday afternoon. What do you do?
I do my assignments and study.
Probably cry a little based on your schedule.
Well, lately it's turned into just
soft weeping.
Yeah, lately it's been turned into a lot of drinking.
That sounds good, not bad. And the school stuff sounds terrible. I mean, I hear Jay talk about how he's back in school and he's like, he has exams and papers and presentations, and I'm like, in the same respect, I'm like, I don't know what I did with my weekends prior to kids. I'm also thinking about school. I'm like, how did I do school? I really like. You think you get smarter as you get older, but I feel like if I went back to school now, I would do worse than ever.
We spent the whole pre-starting the show talking about that, and my mind was just racing at like how fast I would run away from that situation if it was presented to me. My brain could not process being back in that situation.
Yeah, if they were like, okay, welcome to class. Read 60 pages tonight, and could you write an essay on Blobodoctic? And I'd be like, oh, sounds great. Can I get my money back? I'm done with this shit. I don't know how to get a degree. I'm glad I don't need to do this thing. I'm glad I got it all through, like just straight through. Because Jay, is it awesome going to school and working at the same time?
Oh my God. I have this class on Friday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. and it's mostly group work. And so I got this group of 4 Chinese students, and the first day he's like, you're going to meet for an hour and do a presentation, which, you know, with my anxiety is awesome. And there's 100 people in the class.
Just interrupt you. Did you go, hey, I'll team with the 4 Chinese students, so I don't have to do any work?
He pre-assigned the class. All right.
Okay.
So he's like, this is your group. And then he's like, you meet for an hour, and then one of you is going to present. So I said, fine, I'll present, get it over with, then I could coast the rest of the semester. And so we got together. He gave us a problem. He's like, all right, come up with a solution and then present it. So I said, all right, guys, we read the whatever, and I'm like, all right, here's the problem. We got to come up with a solution. And what I think they heard is talk amongst yourself in Chinese and text and let Jay just hang out there. So I basically had to figure out the whole thing for myself.
Did you, at any point when they're talking, you just like, oh, I don't, not to be rude, but speak fucking English?
Or like, how about help? Because it's bad enough that I'm doing a presentation that freaks me the fuck out. And now like, you're not helping at all. So I just have to, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Is it rude at all? I mean, I'm not saying like you're in America, you have to speak English, but is it rude if you know like the other person doesn't speak your language to speak your language in front of them and just leave them out of the conversation, especially in group work like that?
It's very rude.
Yeah, in that situation for sure.
I dated a Brazilian girl, and she would always meet up with me and then talk amongst her friends in Portuguese, and I'm like, asshole, like this isn't. I'm just sitting here. And I don't know what the fuck anybody's saying, and it's not cool. And then but the thing is, I know some Spanish, so what I would do is if I picked up a word that was similar, I'd be like, "Oh, what are you talking about, cars?" And she's like, "How'd you know?" I'm like, "Oh, I've known Portuguese this whole time, so you better not like talk shit." And, I had her convinced that I know it.
So what were you guys talking about when I jumped in here?
Nelson DeMille.
The novels of Nelson DeMille.
Fantastic. That sounds amazing. Steven just said the audio just cut off.
It's back.
Okay.
I was trying to fix the live window.
Steven now just sends me direct messages.
I was trying to fix the live window. It's small. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want a large picture of Marc's face anyway.
Please, I don't want a large. I'm looking at this thing right now, and I just see my face, I can't look at myself when I talk. I don't know who can actually. I don't know what demented asshole's like. I really like looking at my own image while I talk.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. Like, oh yeah.
Do you cover Jay up while you guys are talking? Like, do you hide everything?
I covered everyone up just now.
Yeah, that's smart.
Actually, no, I don't cover Jay up. I never cover Jay up. I just like to stare at him.
Oh, you just crushed him. this is great.
Oh, because I totally cover you up.
So here's a question. Here's a weird situation. Totally related to the Nelson DeMille novels. So, what's my wife walking in here? What's going on, woman? Get in your bag.
And
you're on camera.
20
actually,
perverted
right?
comments in the chat room.
It's just usually set off. Like,
did you tell everyone? Did you tell everyone how you had it that your friend asked to take down the episode?
No, we didn't talk about that. I don't know if we should be talking about that.
Why not? They're never going to listen.
That's true. Well, it's back up.
Okay. Before this, so last week's guest host, Peter, what are you doing now, woman? You need a pen? God.
This is like the most unprofessional shit I've ever been involved in.
It's so unprofessional. Woman, we're doing a professional show. There's 12 people out there listening to our show right now.
Steven's so pissed at you right now.
Our last guest host, his wife after the show asked for the episode to be pulled.
Because
he talked about they had when they bought their place, there was an old woman. Part of it was you can buy our place for a discount, but this old woman must live with you for a little while. And she was worried that she just didn't want people to know about the old woman living with them. Does that sound weird?
I think the situation's out. So they bought a house, and it came with an old lady.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Do they know her at all? Like, is it a family friend?
They were like, you got crown molding, you got like double wide windows, then an old woman. Say that again? Yeah, double wide windows. No, the old lady.
Now, is she in like the house proper? Like
what I understand is it's in Brooklyn, so it's like one of those. Do they live in a brownstone? Where do they live in, Jay? Jay, you've been to their place, right?
Yeah, I have.
Like a side-by-side situation, or
no? It's a single unit.
Okay, a single unit. There was like a basement where where the old woman who was like 9,400 years old lived, and they were worried that it was some kind of illegal rental situation, but I don't think it was, or I don't really know if it was or not. But anyhow, she was worried about that, and we used the word retard on the show a couple of times. She doesn't like the word retard.
Yeah, I mean that's not takedownable.
Yeah, would you, Jay? Am I revealing too much about it?
If she listens, yes. If she doesn't, no.
She's never gonna listen again. She's never gonna listen.
I feel like 10 minutes of comic talk probably scared her off.
Yeah, no, I know her too, but I know. Would you? It would scare anyone off. You could pretty much give away national secrets right now, and you'd be fine.
We could just do like a live drug deal. Nobody will know.
So, Robert, say a friend of yours. You did a show. The friend's significant other was on the show, and the friend asked you afterwards, would you pull the episode? Would you pull the episode? Because she didn't like some of the content that her significant other had talked about.
No, we would have had to like really have like gotten drunk and made some serious mistakes for that to happen.
So in this situation, she just says like, I really think you're my friend. I've known you for a while. Please just pull the episode. Are you going to do it?
No, there's a continuity. It can't just go away.
Right.
Would you tell her you pulled it and just don't pull it anyway?
That I might consider that because most people you could probably get that by.
Right, because you're like, who's gonna fucking check this? Is she gonna check, Jay? Do you think she's gonna check?
Well, I fixed it. There was literally one word. I had to edit the one word out, and then post the episode for that one.
What do you mean? What'd you edit out?
The name of the retirement home that lady went to.
Oh,
that seems fair.
Oh, did you guys talk about this? And she was cool with that word being edited out?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds. And the retard thing is totally cool.
No, but it's in there.
Okay, I'm trying to say the word retard as much as possible now.
Who said the word retard to cause was it in context to her or the old lady?
No.
No, it was totally. She
Oh, it's just like I generally just don't like this word.
That word is like my button that
she
sets
finds
me
it
off.
offensive.
Some people have like that one topic, like I'll laugh at anything, but except that.
I mean, I get that, but she's not the one who said it.
I don't get that at all.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I don't care. You could say whatever you want right now. It's not like I said it out loud. I don't know.
Here's the question: the people that you're calling retard, usually, first of all, it's referred to someone that's not actually retarded, and secondly, the person that you're referring to that would be retarded never takes offense to it because they don't understand the word.
They can't hear through that helmet they're wearing.
Why is that word offensive? It's not like you're like, remember the days when we had retard slaves? I don't understand why that word's offensive.
It's an odd pairing.
Does every group get their own word?
I don't know. I some people are really like that. I mean, I got unfriended because I used the word black on Facebook.
I feel like the bigger problem is that we're gonna run out of words.
Yeah.
Like there's so few derogatory words left that you can get away with that we're getting narrowed down to our shits and our fucks at this point. And honestly, and they're not even as interesting as they used to be.
Yeah, everything's going to turn back into like I Love Lucy 50s style, I can't offend anybody, sleep in separate beds bullshit.
But the new words aren't coming in fast enough. Like, are there new ones?
Not really.
As a white male, like a cracker doesn't really offend me. Can I select something else that offends me? Like, could I be like when they say like, "Are you Caucasian?" I'd be like, "That's fucked up, dude."
I think there's versions of that exist now. Yeah, sure.
It's too many. I feel like the word has to have a long history of the N word, which I'm not even gonna say it as a white man. That word you can see like there's a long history where you can say, okay, I can see why you don't want to use that word.
Right.
But like, you remember when like retards couldn't catch taxis? I don't know. I don't see where that goes.
We're just one step away from like someone digging up some information that makes a word like idiot inappropriate in all situations, and then you're just out. Then we're just all nice.
Right.
Robert, how old are your kids?
They are 8 and 5.
Okay, and your significant other will make us pull the episode because we reveal the age of your kids. That's not going to make us.
No, there's a disturbing wealth of information about my kids in podcasts at this point.
So the word midget, sometimes people refer to that as being an offensive when you talk about a small person as being a midget. I'm not really sure. But then I call my son's 4, I call him a midget. Because I feel like it's a very appropriate thing for like, he's a small human being. But I'm wondering if one day I'm like, call a midget in public and some guy's going to be like, that's fucked up. But like, no, it's not an actual midget, it's my son. And they'd be like, oh, well, I'm still offended. Like, I feel like one day I'm going to get like, someone's going to call me out on that word. But I use it all the time.
It'll probably happen. I agree with that.
Yeah, would you call your kids midgets? Well, I guess maybe your kids are a little taller now, but
yeah, but no, I mean, I definitely throw stuff around them that like most people would find inappropriate, I think. But I don't know. I'm not a very easily offended person, but if you said it like walking through a supermarket and there was a midget with an earshot, then you probably have a problem. But people should. But if that's not the case, I don't think people should get offended by that situation.
And could I explain, if the midget gets in my face, can I be like, listen, I was talking to my son. Don't you think he's more appropriate to be call him a midget than yourself? I'm rebranding the word. You should like call me a hero.
I don't think you're going to sell that very well.
I don't know. I mean, then he could just like listen, dude. I'm going to keep walking. You're a midget. You know what? Here's another just a totally random thing I thought of, and I noticed today. So I got the Amazon Fire Stick. I don't know what it's like the Roku or anything. It's totally different topic.
I have a Fire TV, so
you have Fire TV? Okay, you got it.
Familiar.
So my son wanted to watch Lego movie or Lego TV show, like either Lego movie or any kind of Lego show. I was like, well, we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime. I can find something Lego. I type in Lego. So 2 words under Lego. I'm glad my son can't read yet. It's like Lego movie, Lego this, lesbian movies. I was like, can they not filter this shit out?
That was a topic
Lego.
on.
That was a topic on it. It was like it was like 2 down from Lego was lesbian movies. I'm like, what is it? Like, if I'm searching for Lego and lesbian movies catches my attention, something's fucking wrong with me.
What do you do about like? This is I get a lot of shit for this, and it's becoming like a tense point in our house. Like my 8-year-old. Well, how old's your oldest?
My oldest is 4, my youngest is 18 months.
Oh, so you have a little bit of room before this happens, but like very quickly, my son, there was like overnight he just knew how to do voice searches on like iPad or anything like that.
Okay.
And at first I was like, oh, that's cool. Like he searches Minecraft and he pulls up videos. I don't have everything set up to be like in kid mode because it's like too restrictive. If you set it up like that he can only do that, you just can't find anything and it just shuts it down. But now that also leaves open the world of like you're searching Minecraft and then you're in related videos and the next thing you're in like the Minecraft midget show, which is like a offensive parody using my like do you plan on locking all that down for your kids or just sort of dealing with it as it comes?
I'm gonna, I guess, deal with it as it comes. Like right now, we haven't locked anything down because, like, sometimes he'll be on the iPad, but he'll never be able to like put a search together. That'll be a problem yet.
Right. You are
but
so close to that, by the way. That
Yeah,
happens
no,
so fast.
probably true. But you know what's like the weird thing about it also is, I remember like being a kid and being like, one of my friends was like, "Hey, come out to the woods." And you come out to the woods, and there was like a Penthouse magazine someone had found that was like looked like it was 300 years old, and we all stared. At the
He's got the
magazine.
same story as me, Jay. What is happening here?
I have that story too. Every
kid-
single
That's-
woods had a
That's
porno
the
mag.
greatest. Yeah.
Right. So now he's like, "Hey, come over here and look at my internet, and there's tons of porn. I don't have to go to a woods. You're handing them. You're like, here's the internet. Here's porn. Where's pornocopia? It's Pornlandia. It's a weird thing that like all this porn is so accessible to them. You don't want it to be accessible to them. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a really weird concept that like the thing they're going to use to learn is also going to have like bestiality on it if they do the right search.
It's kind of depressing though that there's like a lack of discovery now because like I'll retell this Jay started before, but my big porn story is when I was in high school, young, like freshman in high school, I would drive like 45 minutes to a very specific mall in New Jersey to buy issues of Cherry Pop-Tart, which was like a porn comic. Okay.
Okay.
And the fact that it required
Wait, I have a
like
question. Just hang on. So in the comic book love, you were like, even for porn, I prefer the comic book version of it.
No, it was honestly, you know what it was? It was that because it was a comic book, it was like easier to get because they weren't like behind the counter handing you like a Playboy or something like that or like Velvet magazine. It was just
When you say
like,
easier to get, it was like because you had the like you're like this. I have the balls to try to buy.
yeah, that was kind of it. Like
if you probably could be like I'll take the Hustler, titty poppers, and a pack of Marlboro. Sure, dude.
I probably could, but there was like a plausible deniability to it. Like if someone saw me getting it and you saw the cover of it, you'd just be like, "Oh, that's kind of like a poorly chosen comic book cover," but you wouldn't know that it. Like if someone handed me a Playboy, I'd be so embarrassed that everybody in the store, I would still be at this day, like handed that to me and they all saw me getting it. So it was kind of like a way to hide that. But I just felt like the fact that you had to discover it in the woods or that you had to go out there was like, that's what made that so fun. And for our kids, it's just going to be like, they can have all that in like 6 minutes.
Right. It's just gonna be Daddy forgot to put the parental controls on. Let's find some weird shit on here.
What level is that going to take it to? What level do they have to take that to get the same thrill out? You know what I mean? Like that's what's frightening.
Right. They're gonna be like, let's go to the woods. Oh, we found an orgy in the woods. I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah, or they'll be at torture porn in their 6th week of looking at porn online because
snuff videos.
what's left?
They'd be like, honey, how did he find that? She found my bookmarks.
Yeah, it was like I like those news like the news booths. They have like candy and magazines and shit.
Yeah.
I bought one magazine there and I never went back again. I like got a soda there every single day and then I bought a magazine and just never went back again. It was
because of fear.
Along the same
it's
line.
embarrassing. Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Like even today, would you go and buy like a hardcore porn magazine? Would you go buy that in a store?
No.
No.
So-
My buddy in high school would. They didn't card him, and he was like, I don't know, 14, and they had videos and magazines, and he would buy one every single week, and he had this huge box in his closet filled to the brim with magazines and movies. And his name was Bry. He wrote Bry's Happy Box on the side.
Subtle.
And so he was calling his mom from my place to ask if he could sleep over. And then he pauses, and then he gets off the phone and he goes, Mom found the Happy Box. I was like, I can't imagine what she thought when she found like $500 worth of porn in this gigantic box.
Well, does she, like, I mean, in her mind, do you think she's like, she sees it and she's like, does she try to just unsee it? Just kind of put, I'm going to put this back under the bed and pretend it didn't happen.
I think she threw it out on him. That was that was a lot of collecting too.
My mom found like a small stash of my stuff when I went to college, and all I got was like 6 years later in an unrelated conversation, it was dropped in as, and I found some things that I was really disappointed in. And I was like, oh, Jesus, that's where they went. Because I didn't know to that day that she had found it.
Right.
Depressing.
I also like the disappointed in. I was very disappointed. Mom, I like sex. It would be kind of disappointing if I grew up and I did not like sex, actually. It would be kind of weird, actually.
I was disappointed that I found out you were a male going through puberty.
I was disappointed to find out you were normal. It was like, I was hoping you were an asexual freak. By the way, why, like these days I still go into like magazine shops and I see porn for sale in magazine form, or you see them in like those like news booths. Who buys them today since the internet exists?
Especially when you're like in a New York City subway and they still have porno magazines there. Like, who's buying a porno magazine on like the 42nd Street subway?
Just for the ride.
Yeah.
just something to look at.
Like, someone's just going there and the guy's like, this stuff's all on the internet. I mean, this stuff's on the internet? I have to fucking buy this stuff?
Maybe I'm cheap, but I don't even understand why people pay for it on the internet.
I didn't know anyone paid for it on the internet, actually.
I mean, somebody must be, right?
There must be a lot of people, yeah.
There have to be tons of people. But I just don't get like how you cross that line of like at a certain point, maybe it's because we grew up in that age, but at a certain point I look at it as like, yeah, I mean, sure, maybe we could get some improvements here, but this is working just fine.
Well, then you find people who like,
okay, if I pay, then I'm kind of then I have a problem.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, there's this site, like, it's a live cam site, Chatterbait, and like girls were like, do stuff depending on how many tokens you give them. So like, I think like 100 tokens is like $10. I've seen people on there throw like 5,000 tokens at people.
What?
Yeah, it's like, why? She's just like sitting there, and like she's like, I'll do whatever you want for like 500. So like throw in 5,000. I'm like, why would you do that?
Well, I feel like you just better explained free to play gaming to me with that sentence than anything else I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like there's just a subset of people out there who just are okay with that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like,
I've heard some of these girls they've run like on the Howard Stern show where they'll talk about how like they encourage guys to give them money and like they make serious cash doing that also.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, think of 5,000 tokens. That's $500. And even if they're splitting it 50-50 with the website, she just made $250 in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should all become like the Chelsea. What's her name? The one that's converted over to becoming a girl.
Oh,
Jenner?
Yeah.
Jenner, yeah. We should all become a Jenner and get our own websites.
I'm pretty sure my terrible body would not get me 5,000 tokens.
No, I don't think I'd get 5, right.
They'd be like 5,000.
I'd have to find a real niche.
Down.
Yeah.
There's probably some weird niches out there.
Yeah. Chatterdadbod.com or something.
Chatterdadbot. You should do it while we do our show. That's how we should like pay for the show. You should just have a cam and you're like just sitting there naked while we do the show. And I bet like guys just giving tokens like, Jay, touch your nipple. But I'm doing the fine. I need the.
Knowing us, we would do that and then realize that we have no way of getting tokens, and I'd just be sitting there naked for no reason.
Just doing it.
Actually, the worst thing of all is you do it as a joke and you'd be like, this is actually the most successful thing we've ever done in our lives.
Yeah. We finally went viral. been trying to do that for 7 years.
So what's this Nelson DeMille book?
Nelson DeMille is our favorite authors.
What is he/she write?
The General's Daughter.
Oh, that was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote that.
Wow, it's cool. What else did he write?
If you haven't read any of his books, you won't know them. None of the rest were movies.
Why do you think so few of them have been movies? Because that one was such a failure?
I don't know. Like, I feel like most of them would make awesome movies.
Yeah, there's no reason that, like, Born Supremacy and all those are movies and his aren't.
People have the rights to a lot of his books. They're just not making them. Like, I think, like, Cathedral.
They must have been scared off by that. Because it didn't do well.
Well, it was a Travolta movie in, like, the year 2000. What were they thinking?
There's probably a certain amount of, like, the first book that gets made to a movie. If it doesn't do well, like, no one wants to touch you from there.
Yeah, it's possible. Just shut it down.
Anyone you think of that has, like, a book that's done really well as a movie, they probably didn't have a previous. They probably usually don't have a previous book that got made to a movie.
Right. Some of the movies do well, and I think they stink. I don't.
No, there aren't bad movies that are made. I don't know what you're talking
about. We got emails.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lorenzo writes, "Hi guys, we've had to live in my in-laws' house for about 8 months a few years back, and my mother-in-law started taking all her calls on speakerphone all of a sudden. This was in an open plan house, and she is naturally a loud person. If you were trying to watch TV, you had no chance of hearing anything. It used to annoy my wife too, but she didn't do anything about it, so I politely asked the dragon-in-law if she could stop. Needless to say, it was not received well, but she did start taking more calls outside. What are your thoughts on using speakerphones in public? I didn't use much public transport, but I can imagine it would be bad for those who do. It is my number one pet hate, as I am a private person. I don't give a shit about your conversation. Just keep it to yourself. Once we moved into our own house, my wife started doing the same thing, but I quickly shot that down and is now under control."
Do you get annoyed if someone puts you on speaker when you're talking to them?
Yep.
It depends where they are. Like, if they're like in their apartment, they're alone, I'm fine with it. But if they're anywhere in public, yeah, I think it's obnoxious.
No, like, it's like someone's just like they're in their apartment, but they're doing something else. They put you on speaker. Does that annoy you? Because I know some people get really annoyed by that. Yeah, I
don't care too much about that.
There's like it's never the same on speaker though. Like, there's always like an introduced latency or something that, like, my wife God help us, we have a minivan now, and it's the first car she's had, like, it's got the button where you can, like, your phone hooks up to the thing,
right?
And you can just talk in the car. And that, like, the second I call, if she answers on that, I just say, "Call me back later," and just I will not, because it's just like, it's, unfortunately you guys are doing it right now, but it's like you could talk to your best friend on Skype, and that it's almost like you don't even know the person. Like, don't you find that, like, disconnect? And I feel speakerphone just introduces that immediately.
Yeah, it does. I also saw somebody using it was on speakerphone, but they didn't understand how to hear, so they had the phone in their hand and they were like talking into it and then moving it back to their ear, and they were like going back and forth. And I'm like, have you never used the phone before?
But I would say anyone that's using speaker around you is kind of annoying.
That's definitely annoying.
That's really, like, I don't need to be in on your phone conference.
Or somebody playing, like, Fruit Ninja at full blast on the subway. It's like, do you need full volume for your phone games? Or
That's kind of weird also.
Or just the tinny, shitty music. It's like, have you never heard of headphones? Why would you even want to listen to your...
Yeah, wait, do people do that on the subway? Just, like, crank music on their phone?
Yeah.
With no...
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, it sounds like shit anyway, and it's pissing everybody off. Why would you do that?
That's horrible.
I don't know. People are just obnoxious in any way possible.
Yes.
Mr. C writes, "Would you rather have grass for hair or wheels for legs?"
Wow, these are really good questions. Do we have other emails?
What was the first video game you ever beat? Mine was Strider for Genesis.
I think I beat Super Mario 2 before I beat Super Mario 1.
Really?
I think so.
Adventure for the Atari 2600.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Just to let you guys know I'm a little older than both of you.
Well,
Just let you know, it was something that was invented in the 1800s.
well, my first video game system was Coleco, but most of those games didn't have an ending.
You can't beat them. Yeah, I think Adventure's the only one I can even think of on Atari that had like a real ending. That game fucking sucked too. God.
The only game I could think of that had an ending was Jumpman Jr., but I didn't beat that until about 2004. So
2004, you say?
yeah, it was so fucking hard.
You finally did it. Do you guys both play games now?
I don't.
I do.
Do you play games?
Yes, a lot.
Oh, I can't get into them anymore.
I'm telling you, I'm having a lot of trouble with the open world games.
Like as far as like just being a time suck
I feel like
or getting bored.
The fun to time ratio is not there.
Yeah.
Like I'm running around in the woods for like a half hour, and then the guy's like, "Go over there," and it takes you 20 minutes to go over there, and then
How do you? That sounds terrible. There was a thing I sent. It was on a cracked website about like games that had terrible those kind of time sucks.
Mhm.
There was one game where you had to hike up a mountain for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, how fucking insane do you have to
game is
be
that?
to hike up a mountain? Do you remember what game it was?
I think it was like Shenmue 2 or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck you can. For me at least, games, and this is maybe my lack of attention or maybe how dumb I am. But once they said, "Okay, go on a mission," I said, "Fuck you! I don't want to go on a mission. I want to fight or be done with the game." It's like I want to figure stuff out. I'm going to figure stuff out in real life, not in the games. Like I don't have the maybe the intelligence to do it. I like the sports games, but in the sports games, they're like, "Here, choose from 40 different plays." I'm like, I just want to hit like run or throw.
Yeah, I missed
That's it.
Tecmo Bowl when there was 4.
Yeah, I want 4 plays. That's all I want. I
That's-
don't want a lot of choice.
That's the ideal. That like if you could sit me down with Tecmo Bowl and RBI baseball, I could call it a life and be fine with those 2 games.
Like the new Maddens, they're like, start a team and market your team and sell tickets. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you guys just trying to get ideas from us?
I tried
When you
playing
guys are
Madden.
both basketball, like have you tried the 2K games? Because those are they're so highly regarded, and there's like 900 buttons that you could possibly push to make a layup.
Oh yeah, I played it recently, and I use 2 buttons, and if I don't do 90% of the moves, I don't give a shit.
It's when playing the video game becomes more work than actually going out and playing basketball. I'll just go out and play basketball.
Well, I tried Madden, couldn't even play it. I got sacked within 5 seconds every single time.
So, Robert,
I gave up on that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do your kids play the video games?
Yes, very much.
Are they
Like
really?
I have one. My oldest is like, and I was like this too, so I kind of saw this coming. But he's in that like problem area of if they create some kind of. Did you guys read like Ready Player One?
Yeah,
Or
that
do you
was
know about
awesome.
that?
I don't
Okay.
know. But
If there becomes a world of like virtual reality that is in any way interesting, he's the kind of kid we could just lose. Like who would just disappear into a world of games. Like he would play for 24 hours a day if given the choice.
yeah, I kind of I see myself like my son gets a little older, like he'll maybe play some video games and then also comics the same respect, like him getting into those things, and maybe I'll get into those things with him.
Mhm.
But the video game thing, I'm a little worried that like how much do you limit your limit? Like how many hours can he play?
Oh, we're
a day?
severe. No, he can do 1 hour a day of either TV or games. I
Oh,
should say
wow.
it's like, and let me rephrase that because that was when they were a little younger. He does like an hour and a half at this point, and then at bedtime he can do like 20 minutes of iPad. But we're
Yeah.
pretty strict about it. I mean, we're like compared to other people, at least around us, that's like a fairly strict take on that. But it's mainly because we know he would just like
Yeah, no,
never
that's
talk
good.
to
I mean,
human
I remember
beings.
playing Coleco for like 5 hours a day when I was like 3 years old.
I absolutely was the same way. And now I'm antisocial with anxiety, and so are you. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know-
exactly.
I don't know what that says. Yeah.
Now we spend a lot of time doing free podcasts, so I don't know. You're right.
Now we just talk to people over headphones and not in real life. So I can
Yeah,
see where it
yeah.
all worked out great.
See, my
Yeah.
problem is I think I'm more. Maybe it's because I grew up that way, or maybe it's just because I don't have the time. We talked about how like going to school and doing 2 podcasts and working full time. I don't have much time for games, so I don't want to walk through the fucking woods for a half hour to get to something else. I like level 1, go to the right, shoot shit, and then you win the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like simple games with just fighting, the Mortal Kombat, fight. Steven just wrote me a little while ago, you don't even try to get into them, as if I'm going to go, oh, this is something I should work on to make myself better.
Yeah. let me find a way to like this time waster more.
Honey, I need to get in the video game. It's going to make my life better. Come on.
Like,
God, I take the kids. I'm playing my video games.
I've narrowed down to liking like the last Tomb Raider that came out. Like I like stuff
that
that's
was
like
awesome.
Very linear, mission to mission.
Yeah.
Has like I'm not like a big story guy in games because honestly I just like lose track as it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that it just sort of like feeds me through this line that I need to get to an end of. But like even games, I like open world games. I just get sick of them in like 12 hours and they require 80 to finish.
Right. Yeah. I've tried in the last 2 months, I've tried Witcher 2, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed 4.
They all have the same problem. Yep.
Yeah. All of them are just like, go anywhere you want. I'm like, why don't you just tell me where to go? I don't want to fucking run around.
See, that sounds, that sounds
the
awesome.
Far Cry games, the new ones are amazing. And for like the first 3 hours running around shooting people with that bow is like the most satisfying thing in the world. And then it's just like, here we go again. And it's just, I don't know.
But then Xbox had a game, Shoot Many Robots, and I just play the shit out of that game. You run around, you shoot many robots. It's awesome. So that's pretty much all I play now.
Okay. Honey, but it's not a game. It's not a time suck. It's just shoot many robots. I'm gonna get on the shoot many robot. Okay, can you put the kids to sleep?
You get different items. You go up levels. It's awesome.
Well, you know, my diversion is watching the Mets. Well, Knicks and all the other sports teams also, the Mets right now. And so we should talk baseball because Jay really likes baseball.
I'm a big baseball fan too.
Who are you a fan of?
Okay, I'm gonna refill my drink. I'll leave you guys with this because I really am gonna get some more rum. Thoughts on Matt Harvey? This will please Jay. Thank you, John. I'll be right back.
Wait, is Jay not? Are you not? Is he not a baseball
Jay
fan at all?
hates baseball.
Oh, that's a terrible opinion. That's
the national
worst
pastime.
No.
Who are you a fan of?
I'm a Cubs fan, so we're both in the same sort of boat this year.
Yeah, we really are. You have like more of the hitting. We have more of the pitching, though.
Isn't it weird to be rooting for a good team again?
We're going to the playoffs. You're going to the playoffs. It's bizarre.
It's still very surreal to me right now in that, like, even when the Cubs are good, I've just trained myself to just like put my head down and just accept the fact that it's going to fall apart at some point. And I'm genuinely excited this year. The Mets even more. I mean, this friggin' run you guys are on now is like got to be living because you're up there, right? You in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I'm from Jersey originally. I can't imagine being in that environment right now with that team.
It is unbelievable how, like, every time they lately also they keep playing this game of like down by 5 runs, gonna come back and win the game in the 9th inning. Like they just keep doing these crazy things, which is like
Cespedes is like, it's like he found his home there. Like it's crazy to watch a guy just
he's hit 17 home runs to just enjoy the Mets. Hit another one tonight.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Do you do like fantasy baseball or anything? Or are you just like a straight?
I do football. We do basketball through the podcast, but
that makes sense.
But I'm more into of all the fantasy ones. I'm most into football because it's like once a week.
It's the easiest one by far.
Yeah,
to stay into. I'm in like a real hardcore baseball league, so I have to follow like non-Cubs stuff going on, and it's the Mets stuff. Anytime I'm up against one of those pitchers, you just put your head down. And you're like, Jesus, these guys are gonna fucking kill me.
Well, you got that guy Arrieta's having an amazing year.
Yeah, but you guys are like just. We have a bunch of pitchers. Your roster is nothing. You have like 5 starting pitchers under the age of what? Like, who's the oldest?
I think DeGrom is actually the oldest at like 26.
That's fucking crazy.
It is.
You guys are going to dominate like 3 more years. Easy.
No, it's the Mets, so somehow
they'll do something stupid. I know.
It'll all goes how like all of them will go to jail in some kind of ring of like, oh, we were like doing insider trading because we weren't making millions from baseball.
Wait, so you were up there during this Harvey mess. What was like I got the national story on that, which is like kind of bullshitty. What was like the actual take up there on that whole scene?
I mean, I don't have any more information than you do, really. But
But like, were fans like as outraged?
Well, I think everyone was kind of like, why the hell did they do it now? Why did they have to do it publicly? And the Mets should have known these inning limits.
Yeah.
I don't get why all this had to be public. They could have talked to each other. It just makes no sense. And someone put it on a blog, which I thought made sense. If you go to Harvey and go, okay, you have an innings limit, we're just going to shut you down now, and we'll see you next year, and you'll get to pitch in the playoffs. It's not like Harvey's going to be like, okay.
Yeah, there's no way.
The thing that annoyed everyone is that every time they tried to skip a start for Harvey to save him some inning or pull him out early from a game, he bitched and whined.
He was like a badass at the time.
Yeah, and you're like, why the fuck are you whining if this is going to be a big deal to you? And I understand for his perspective is whatever you say about him bitching about stuff, you're like, he's trying to get $200 million. And any of us would probably be kind of conflicted as well.
Yeah, you do whatever. But on the same hand, it would have been so much easier at that point to just be like, I'm only going to pitch 5 innings a start for a couple weeks now because I want to be here in the fucking playoffs and win this thing for you guys. And New York fans would have been like screaming in the streets about how much they love him. Like, just like the worst PR situation you could have created for yourself for no reason. Well, it seems like it's smooth over, though.
Yeah, I mean, they say he's still going to pitch in the playoffs. Who knows what's going to be exactly how it's going to work. But you know what? The fact that we have to deal with this kind of problem also is like, wait, we have to deal with a problem because we're going to the playoffs? That's fucking amazing.
That's great.
John writes, did you have a good Labor Day?
I had a good Labor Day. What about you, Robert?
I'd rather have wheels.
I'm amazed
I think the grass hair sounds like a terrible idea.
I'm amazed I was able to derail you guys that quickly. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, we kind of we feel bad for you. I don't know why Jay doesn't like baseball. Jay doesn't like baseball or puppies. And
I think baseball is just so boring. I don't know.
Do you like? I know you're an NBA guy, but do you guys watch college basketball, or has that just fallen off the map completely with the whole world?
Yeah, no, I can't follow.
I watched March Madness, but I didn't go to a college that had a good team. And I think if you don't go to a college that had a team, or you don't live in a town where it makes sense to root for Duke, say, then I don't know. Are you that into it if you don't have a team?
No, I was like growing up, probably through high school, college basketball. Like my dad went to Seton Hall. Not that they're ever very good, but like I was so into it. I feel like that is just a dead sport unless you go to Duke or North Carolina or like one of 3 other schools. I just don't think anyone in the world cares about it other than here's 3 fun weeks in March or whatever it is at this point. Like it seems
it is one of the coolest things in sports though. March Madness, so it kind of turns itself around. All season you're like, who gives a shit? Then March Madness you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it for that. But I mean, I used to regularly watch from beginning to end, and now, I mean, we even have a good coach at our school. We've got Avery Johnson at Alabama now, so like I should be more into it this coming season than I am, but I just don't care anymore.
I also like how they try to change the rules to help them out. They're like, well, maybe we should make the players, I don't know, make them stick. Everyone in college basketball has to stay there for 4 full years and play for free for 4 full years. That's how we'll fix it. And the NBA will only get finished products.
Probably fit. I mean, if it was 4 years, that would probably fix college basketball, but it's never going to happen.
They're like, oh, guys are leaving early. It's going to ruin college basketball. You're like, yeah, but you guys are like exploiting people anyway. So
you totally, yeah.
Yeah, that part of it also kind of gets to me is like, you're like, oh, you're making billions of dollars while you're like, oh, go to a class for free that you're not going to get to study for because you're working 40 hours a week just to play basketball.
Oh, trust me, as someone who works in the stadium that our football team plays at, there's nothing more frightening than the absolute lack of care that schools have for their student athlete. Like, if we have a football player who does anything other than what they want him to do, it's like they didn't exist 3 days later.
Well, the whole term student athlete was just a marketing term?
No, I believe it, but
yeah, and I watched this documentary on the history of the NCAA, and they basically came up with it. There was a whole workers' compensation lawsuit, and they came up with the term student athlete as a way to like make it. Oh, it's all about students, and it was just a PR thing. And now we've adopted that as being like the actual thing,
the good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. More questions, Jay? Don't we have like 40 questions?
Yeah,
on Facebook?
we gotta speed up these questions.
Okay,
Austin
cool.
writes, "Where were you guys on 9/11? Take us through the progression of what you came to believe that day. And I don't know if you already have covered this in the past at some point, but what did you make of that whole Bush in the classroom scene, like the whole satanic ritual that was supposedly happening there? I know how this show likes to double for a 9/11 truther podcast.
I was just I was in law school at the time, and I was in class, and someone came in and said, and I was like, it was like 8 in the morning. Maybe I went out the night before, or 9 in the morning, I guess, whatever. I was just really tired and out of it, and the guy came in and goes, "A plane just hit the one of the twin towers," and my first thought was, well, are the planes supposed to hit the towers? Why is he telling us this? I just didn't even take in what happened. I was like, oh. I mean, I guess there's okay, cool. It's happened. Okay, why? We get back to contracts.
Yeah.
Then what was your first reaction when you heard it?
Well, I was supposed to move back to Boston on the 12th. So my dad and I had like a bonding moment on the 10th where we just did shots of whiskey and talked for like hours, and we got fucked up. So the next morning, my dad's like, wake up, you have to watch the TV. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm really, really hungover. And he's like, no. Like, get up and turn on the TV. And I turned it on, and I think the first one had hit, and the second one didn't hit yet. So I watched the second one hit live, and then I watched the third one fall for no reason.
If you can't tell, Jay, it's a conspiracy nut.
I said, well, that's weird.
I took into how insane it was, and I didn't realize people out there would be like, oh, yeah, I think this was the mole people, Jay.
No, I mean, it totally makes sense that that third building fell when nothing hit it. Totally makes sense.
Jay,
Wait, were you both in Manhattan?
No, I was in Long Island.
Okay, so same, yeah.
I was in Atlanta.
Which is why I couldn't get to Boston for an extra 4 days, because you couldn't drive from Long Island.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was stuck.
Jay was like, fucking terrorists ruining my plans to get to Boston. Well, actually, no, Jay was like, fucking Bush administration for ruining my plans by blowing up a tower so I can't get to Boston. Robert, where were you?
I was.
Robert, where are you now?
I'm in Alabama. I live in Birmingham.
Okay. I didn't know actually where you were, but where were you in 9/11?
I was in Tuscaloosa, still in school, and I woke up at a girlfriend's house that morning, and I turned it on like the same time that your dad woke you up, Jay. So I saw like the first one was just had the smoke coming out of it, and then I watched from there on out.
But you're from Jersey, so
yeah. So I knew not a very many people, but like 2 or 3 people that still worked in the building. None of which were there that day, oddly enough. But yeah, it was just, it was just different from here. Like, I can't even imagine being in the city that day, but it was more surreal from here. Like, again, it was just the national version that I got.
yeah.
So what was your take on George Bush being in the classroom thing?
The reading thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a strong take on it. The fact that he kept reading.
There's somebody posted a video of like kids reciting satanic shit. I don't know. Is this a long video? I'm not going to play it if it's long.
What?
It's 6 minutes. I don't want to listen to a 6 minute video.
I feel like if you didn't like Bush, that just reinforced your reason for like disliking Bush. And if you were a fan of Bush, you were like just excused it and said, "What's he going to do?"
I definitely, with a passion, dislike him. But like, I don't know. That day was so weird that it's like, when did the reading thing happen? After the first one hit? I guess
they whispered. He's like, I'm going to read this book about bunnies, or what book was he reading? You know,
I don't know. He was reading a kid's book.
A kid's book, and they're like, Mr. President, we've just been attacked by terrorists.
Yeah, that's not great. You should probably.
And he's like,
go.
I don't want to scare these kids. So the bunny went to the market, Mr. President. We kind of need your help on this. But the bunny's going to the market. I want to find out what happens, guys.
But he's such an idiot. Like, it's almost like, can you even blame? He's so dense. Can you blame him at a certain point? Like, didn't we know that's what we had?
Well, I feel like someone had to tell him, hey, dude, you have to leave the classroom and deal with this.
It's been proven he didn't have the best advisors either. I mean,
yeah,
it was a group of pretty incompetent folks.
I think they went over to him and they said, Bush, everything went according to plan. And he said, excellent.
Pretend nothing's going on.
It was weird in the video when the guy did the Mr. Burns thing while he was talking about Bush.
Steven writes, what is your favorite X-Men story arc? Give a brief explanation.
That one where they had the gay orgy, I thought was really kind of awkward and weird, but it worked out in the end.
That was Cherry Pop-Tart, the Sex Men issue.
What's your favorite? Tell me all about an X-Men story arc.
Favorite one, maybe Age of Apocalypse.
I was debating on saying that, but I feel like that's like my stock answer for that.
I know it's like I hate alternate reality ones, but that was
I know, and
really
yet it's
good.
still the one that jumps to my mind the first.
Is that one where they weren't accepted for being mutants, and someone tried to stop them from being mutants, but then in the end they won out?
There's aspects of that in there, sure.
Yeah.
Is that every X-Men story?
Yeah, but that's not different than like what's a television property that you like?
Television property? Don't you mean television
Show? Yeah. Well, I meant
Why
like
did you use the word property?
I don't know. I said that and I already feel like an asshole. I'm glad you brought it
Sir,
back to everyone's attention.
Sir, tell me about a television property you like.
I'm going to say this in the douchiest way possible.
Right. Let me see how I can lose this argument before you even answer.
Tell me about a picture box show you like. That would be the way to use the word show and sound just as insane.
I think I was gonna say like television book or something else property, and then bailed on it and just said television.
I like The Sopranos. Isn't every Sopranos episode about them being Italian and shooting guys and stuff?
There's definitely elements of The Sopranos that from beginning to end is pretty consistent.
No, I understand that, but there's how many comics are there for X-Men?
It's
Hundreds.
so goddamn many.
Hundreds, right? So could they be accepted at some point and being like, oh, they're cool mutants. Hey, what's up?
Well, there was a whole.
There's periods where that's kind of true.
They moved to San Francisco and they love them there.
Did they really do that, or is that are you joking?
That really happened.
Yeah, that did happen.
So basically, they were like,
they lived on an
gonna-
island called Utopia.
They're like, you're really cool with gay people, so maybe you'll be cool with us too.
or is that kind of insulting? Where they're like, like we need to, like they're really kind of born like freaks, so. Gay people are born like freaks; they'll be accepted there. We'll make an analogy, like, "Hey, you guys are mutants."
There was definitely an element of that going on.
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
comic, for sure. Like,
Absolutely.
this is the weird place to live at.
Yeah,
Comics are like they're just a horrible form for that problem anyway, though. Because I think realistically, people who make comics have no expectations that someone's going to read comics long enough for that to really be a problem. Like, I think they care about the short term of like, oh, we'll have this guy for 7 years. He'll read his share of the mutants are persecuted and he'll get a life and move on from this. And then there's this small group of comic podcast nerds who actually still be included highly in that, but like who actually still give a shit about this and will spend week after week saying, God, why can't they do something different?
Yeah, I mean, I figured they could. Whatever. I mean, what's your favorite comic book movie?
I'd probably say either Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain America 2, the one that was the real spy type one.
Jay, what about you?
I would say Avengers or Watchmen.
Oh, you know what? Watchmen would be really high on my list too.
Didn't people not like Watchmen?
Yeah, I didn't get why they didn't.
Some people said it's too much like the comic, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what I want. I want a visual representation of the comic. So those people are just stupid.
Isn't a visual representation of the comic the actual comic?
Like a moving
Moving visual?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I think other people thought it was like a typical superhero movie, and it's not. It's more like
It's not
vigilantes.
at all. Yeah.
So when they didn't have like superpowers, I think people said, well, I don't like this.
If I should watch one comic book movie, which one should I watch?
I mean, in some ways, picking Watchmen for that answer would be a cheap answer because it's almost not a comic movie.
Yeah, but it's based on a comic. I don't know.
Wait, so you've never seen any of these things?
No, I've seen a lot. I've seen the Batman ones. I've seen a couple of the X-Men, maybe one or two of them.
The X-Men ones.
I don't watch a lot of them. I don't know. I started watching Avengers and I kind of got kind of bored and turned that one off, which I thought I should have watched Avengers all the way through. But
you should have watched that one all the way through.
Yeah, I can try that one again. I don't know.
If you couldn't get into Avengers, you can pretty much skip every Marvel,
Yeah.
everything in the Marvel
Yeah,
universe. You
seriously.
may as well just not do.
In theory, I should like these and watch and I get into them. When I was a kid, I loved all these things, like just the idea of these superheroes. And so they make all these superhero movies sounds awesome, but I just don't actually watch them.
You know what I would say that it had never really occurred to me before, something that you just said, but in a lot of ways, like the Batman movies, the Nolan Batman movies, feel more like regular movies than any of the Marvel. Like the Marvel stuff definitely feels like they are putting their comic flag in the ground and saying like this is exactly what we are. But I feel like the Batman movies felt like something that like a normal audience would be more not accepting of, but it just feels more like, oh, this is just like a suspense action thing.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Batman movies and I like them generally. The third one with Bane wasn't so good, but
I thought that one was bad. Yeah.
yeah, but well, of course, the main character, like the main bad guy, has some weird ass voice, and no one even notices till they release the movie.
Right.
The Spider-Man movies were okay, but I don't know. I don't like the. You know what? A part of it is if it's not a superhero that I know that well, like Ant-Man. I'm like, I'm just never gonna give a shit about Ant-Man.
I thought that going into Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was one of my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just like a comedy movie, so it kind of was a different world.
I know you disagree, Rob, but I like the Hellboy movies.
I've never watched him.
Oh,
He's a character that I look at and I immediately discount. I'm like, oh, that looks stupid.
I
and
hated the comics. Hated it.
And you like the movie?
I like both movies.
I know a bunch of people that like. I should try and watch them.
I think I like the second movie better than the first one, but I
just don't know anything about that character. It just looked weird.
The comics had probably my least favorite artist, and I thought the comic was just terrible.
I've heard that one's supposed to be good, but I never. I think the same way. It just looks so stupid. But another one actually. So did you watch Daredevil? I know Jay didn't, but did you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
We're like halfway through it.
What do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot. It's pretty grounded, so it doesn't bother. But I like Daredevil, so it's sort of
that one seems kind of good to me. I watched a couple episodes. It's not bad, but what loses me every time is I'm like, but he's not really blind. Like, this is bullshit. The whole blind thing.
His power. That's always been a problem in those books. Is like the leniency you can take in what his powers mean is so vague. You know, like
it's basically his hearing's so good he could see in black and white.
Right.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like he should be punching air, like just missing on punches. Like it should be something that where it shows he's actually blind.
I do like the fact that they let him get his ass kicked a good bit, though.
That is actually good.
He gets the shit kicked out of him in almost every episode so far, which is good. Like that's at least realistic for that situation, I would hope.
I also don't love his partner in crime. I didn't love his part.
He's a little Foggy's a little goofy on the show. He's a little goofy in the comic too.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's not bad. I just haven't like stuck with it. Jay, next question.
Steven writes, I like The Darkness. Could you give me comic recommendations based on that? Are you talking about the band that?
I thought he was talking about the band.
I'm like a Thing Called Love. What is that?
Yeah, I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
That's a good song, Steven. So play that song and then read whatever comic you want. Next.
When did Spawn start decreasing in quality?
When it was written the first time.
I'm going to side with him on that one.
I've never read a Spawn comic. The HBO series was awesome. The animated one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that.
That was really good.
I've never cared about that character at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either, but I thought that one was really, really well done. Does Rob play HeroClix?
No, I went through a phase where that is like one of those really nerdy things that I kind of think looks really fun, but it's never going to happen.
What are HeroClix?
They're like these little. Okay, this is going to be a horrible comparison, but it's like an action figure-oriented version of Dungeons and Dragons in a way. Like you're doing these little. It's probably more like, what's that card game?
Magic.
It's like Magic the Gathering with figures and moving people around, which none of these things should make anyone. These are like descriptions that make it sound 10 times worse. Well, it's bad no matter how you look at it. But
did you guys ever play Magic the Gathering?
No. I never played any of those card games.
Again, I don't have attention for that stuff, but I also knew that was like, I'm like, the kids that are playing in that, I should hang out with them if I want to have any rep in high school.
My buddy asked me to come over and play with him. I'm like, I didn't know you play. And he's like, yeah, I downloaded all the cards and printed them and cut them out. And
Oh,
I'm like,
that's super sad.
isn't the whole point to buy them and try and get a rare card? Like,
You probably, yeah.
if you download the whole set, doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of the game?
Or
Oh,
he's
that'd be-
smart enough to not buy them, so maybe he wins.
I guess, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Is that a really sad story? Like, could he not afford them? But now that you said that, that's like a totally much better view on it.
Well, I didn't want
Yeah.
to go over on a Friday night and play with his cutout fake card set.
Yeah, he's like, I printed a picture of Ken Griffey Jr. instead of buying the rookie card because, I don't need pictures of men and claim they're worth a lot of money that accomplish stuff that I'm never going to accomplish.
Looking back, isn't that a weird hobby, collecting baseball cards?
I was so into it when
Me
I was
too.
younger.
I collected the entire 1987 set from like trading and buying.
Oh,
packs
that's
and
the
stuff.
wood panel tops, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
But when you think about it, I was just collecting pictures of men.
I think one of the highlights of my life was opening. I had the Billy Ripken "fuck you" card.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? It
Yeah.
said "fuck you" on the bottom of his back. We bought a box of. I think that wasn't that like Fleer or like one of those that are shitty off brands. And I thought like this thing is gonna fucking. I am gonna live off of this card. It's worth about like 3 cents now.
I know. I thought
what
that
is-
about all my cards, my comics. When I was out of work, I sold almost all my baseball cards and almost all my comics, and
Paid your water bill for that month.
Yeah, I paid like I think a half a month's rent.
Oh, that's not bad actually.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, but
really.
I thought I was gonna like
But it was
buy a
probably
house.
so much stuff.
It was
yeah.
so much boxes and boxes. Of shit. I thought I was gonna retire on that shit.
What does your son do for a hobby? He collects pictures of men in uniforms. He tries to get a complete set of them.
Did you guys used to go to like the stores to buy
Yeah.
like? Oh, it's just like.
I paid
was so
I paid $50 for a Jose Canseco rookie card.
Oh, jeez.
My
I think
parents, my parents should have just like taken that $50, bought $50 worth of newspaper, and beat the crap out of me with that newspaper.
I have a worse one. I paid $40 for Rob Liefeld's first comic. It was
I don't
What was
even
his
know
first
what that-
comic?
X Factor 40.
It was X Factor. I didn't know if it was that or not.
X Factor 40. Not one of the high moments in my life.
I don't think I think the most I've ever paid for a comic was 20, and that was a long, long time ago.
What was that? What comic?
I want to say it was the first. It was the first appearance of the White Queen in the X-Men. X-Men 129.
Mm.
And what's that worth today?
Probably not anything.
Right, $5. Based
I
on
don't even treat my comics with like all the box, even those old X-Men that I did pay. There's probably like a period where I paid for like it's probably like 100 comics that I bought between the prices of like $10 and $20. And we have like this. There's a room in our house that was a garage, which is now an actual room, but it's not like air conditioned or anything.
Mhm.
And off of that room, there's this really shitty like closet it gets to like 130 degrees in this room. And that's where I store my comics. Like
one day you're just gonna open it. It's just gonna be fire.
they're just it's like ash, just boxes of ash. There's no. It's the only reason they're there is because like there might be a day where my kids want to look through them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really care what happened. They're just absolutely worthless at this point.
Hey kids, look, I have all these baseball cards when I was a kid. Don't you guys want to? You guys don't give a shit? Great. I save these for no reason.
Dad, these
My,
are just pictures of men.
Speaking. Dad, do you like men in uniform?
What are you
No.
trying-
I also have basketball cards. Oh, you like men in less uniform?
short shorts.
Yeah.
Oh, Daddy likes black men.
Based on her powers, which of the X-Men women would be?
Wait, hang on. So I just want to say, so my dad, growing up, going back to a topic of porn and combining collectibles,
We've come full circle.
full circle. My dad had a subscription to Playboy since like the 70s, early 70s, and had like every Playboy growing up. Which is kind of weird also, a discovery you make when you're a kid. You're like, your dad has Playboy in his room. And you spend a lot of time finding out more about that, what he has. But so post school, I moved back to New York, and my stepmom says, like, we have all these Playboys in the basement now. You're whatever. Maybe you guys should try to sell them and try to make some money with it. And so my stepbrother and I went and we started we were gonna like catalog all the Playboys. We sat there for an hour trying to like start organizing it. And then we were like, who the fuck's gonna buy this shit from us? And it was all like in terrible condition. But I guess my dad, just like you're doing for your sons, you had, at least my dad kept naked women for us, not men to look at. But
the only thing going through my mind the entire time you were telling that story was the ending of this story has to be, oh my God, I'm flipping through and cataloging magazines my dad has whacked off to.
yeah, everything.
Like, I feel like that should be at the forefront of this mess.
It's everything about it is just really weird. Your dad has a collection of Playboys.
There's my wife. You ever go to like an estate sale?
No, I haven't been.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, yeah.
So like my wife goes to them all. It's like one of these things her and her mom do. And every once in a while I'll go with them. You'd be shocked how many people die and leave that legacy behind of like these like they're not mint condition, but like these full runs of Playboy for like 30 and 40 years. Like I've seen like 10 or 12 different houses, and I don't go to that many of these where they have that. It's crazy that was like just a common thing.
Like everyone had that back in the day.
Yeah, they don't. It didn't even have, like, they don't have that much nudity in them, and they have a couple like pictures of the women, but then they have articles and stuff. So they try to present it as a gentleman's magazine.
Yeah,
which I don't know how they sell Playboys anymore at all.
When I was in college, 2 of my roommates subscribed to it, and I was like, "Why?"
That's insane.
There's like 10 pictures in the entire thing, and they're all like, they try to be artsy, so it's not even like stuff you want to see.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they were hot women, but yeah, it's not even the good stuff. How much did the Playboy collection sell for at these estates?
They're a lot. They'd have them. I mean, depending how long the run were, they were like in the couple hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, the ones my dad had were not in good condition, and I was like, we were sitting there. I'm like, we may get $20 for all this. We're gonna put a lot of. This is stupid. Like, I'm like, either we just put on like Craigslist, giant box of porn. Who wants to buy it?
Oh, do you want to really be there when someone comes to pick that up?
No, eventually you're just like,
that's not a guy you want to meet at all.
Some guy calling you with questions. Can you tell me more about the box of porn? Oh, fuck this.
Talk slowly about it. Real slow.
Tell me about her nipples. Jay, next question.
Based on her powers, which of the X-Men women would be amazing in bed?
Really?
Based on their powers.
I'm going to go with Mercury.
I'm going to go with Venus.
She's made of liquid mercury. She can...
So there's like a built-in lubrication factor?
Well, that, or she could basically warp her stuff to be whatever size she wants it, so...
And they also say liquid mercury can, like, fuck up your brain, so that'll be good, too.
So you've got blood poisoning by the end of it?
You get blood poisoning, and you know and at all times, she's like, okay, you're at 98.7. You're at 98.8. You're 98.
I don't know. Like tempo, the ability to like slow down time during that process. Is that helpful?
Get a full 3 minutes out of it?
Right, exactly. I'm pushing for the record.
I can't name a single one, so.
You can't even name Storm?
Storm. I'll go with Storm.
So you can have a nice cool breeze on your ass.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like,
right. It's getting a little humid in here.
Did you guys enjoy Punisher Warzone? It's one of my favorite comic book films. The body count in that movie's unreal. I've never seen that movie.
I have not seen that either. Is that the old one?
Is that the Dolph Lundgren one?
That's the only one I know.
Dolph Lundgren made another movie?
Punisher is showing up in that Daredevil show, which seems like a real train wreck waiting to happen.
Oh, is he?
And it's the guy from Walking Dead who's playing it, the cop that got killed early on.
Oh, we got a comment about tempo. Slowed down orgasm.
Yeah, that's what I was implying.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like slowing down how long it takes to get
I
there.
was definitely implying both for sure.
Okay. 2008 for Punisher. Definitely didn't see that.
I definitely didn't see that.
Dolph Lundgren definitely wasn't in that one.
No.
No, definitely not. Ralph writes, was Jay...
Has he shown up? Has Dolph Lundgren shown up in any of those Expendable movies?
I think he finally did. Yeah, I think he showed up in... I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I didn't like the first one, so I stopped watching. But
I've never seen any of them. But like, I loved all those movies as a kid. I feel like I'm supposed to like them.
Me too. I was so excited about the first one, and I'm like, oh, this is just like a big, dumb,
It's
movie
terrible.
with no plot. Yeah,
That makes
So
sense.
I just looked at Dolph Lundgren.
he might have
and
been in the first one.
on IMDb, and
Yeah.
the movie they list him for is Expendables, which I feel like kind of does his career short. Is that the movie you're gonna list him for?
Yeah.
What else
seriously.
has he done to be proud of?
Rocky 4 is one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, I mean that's the movie
That's
he
a
should
good
be listed
point.
for.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that. That's probably top 10 movies I've watched the most in my life.
Like his license should just say Dolph, in quotations, Drago Lundgren.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you know he was also in Masters of the Universe? Played He-Man.
I know. I don't
Really?
I don't think I've seen that.
I
You haven't
definitely haven't seen that.
You guys haven't seen Masters of the Universe?
I feel like I should have, considering I had a lot of He-Man figures.
So Masters of the Universe actually, and I haven't seen it in like maybe over a decade, but I remember it being actually a really good movie. You guys should see that movie.
I feel like you saw it when you're 5, and it's going to be terrible.
Well, probably, but it was. I remember it being actually like a quality movie.
There's no way that's true.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm sorry, but there's just no chance.
My bet is that Masters of the Universe is better than any comic book movie you're going to recommend to me.
That is the worst opinion I've ever heard.
I'm trying to look it up.
I remember actually my dad took me to it. I was like probably 5 or 6 years old. My dad bitching the whole way that he had to go see Masters of the Universe with me, like out loud bitching with me about it. Like he's like, God, I have to see the stupid movie with you. And then afterwards going like, that was pretty good.
It's got a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is Presto in it? The little floaty magician guy?
Orko.
Orko? I thought his name was Presto.
No, his name's Orko.
Yeah, I'm not a big He-Man guy.
He-Man with this was awesome. And also, if you look at Dolph Lundgren's like career here, he did Rocky IV, Master of the Universe, Red Scorpion, if you guys remember, and he also was in the Universal Soldier. So I feel like he should go into some kind of like actor Hall of Fame.
I'm looking at the cast for the He-Man movie. I was a pretty big He-Man guy back in the day. I don't know any of these characters they have.
How many He-Man can you even name?
Beastman, Skeletor, Man
Was
at
Beastman
Arms.
the guy with the helmet?
No, he was like the orange. He looked like an orange Chewbacca.
Oh, yeah.
Ram Man. I had Moss Man. Like he was covered,
Moss, man.
he was covered in moss. He smelled like moss for about 15 years.
Wait, Jay, did your dad just make you He-Man because you didn't want to buy them? Yeah, I'm just gonna make a figure and put moss on it.
They were
Here's
that
son, it's
bad.
Moss Man.
They were that bad. I mean, it was terrible. Yeah, I could keep going. I'm not going to.
I'm gonna see if I can stream. You guys can stream it. And I don't even see Masters of the Universe on. Can I stream it? Hang on. Oh,
Hmm?
here it is.
Wait, you trying to watch it right now?
I'm trying to find it for you guys so you guys can stream it.
Oh.
That's like the site. Can I stream it? It's streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. I don't have Netflix anymore.
Oh.
Was Jay a Spider-Man fan? Did he go crazy over thoroughly modern Millie? I have no idea what that means.
Are they asking questions in English?
I saw that question on there. I didn't get it either. And I've actually seen Thoroughly Modern Millie in the theater.
What is thoroughly modern Millie?
It's like a stupid play from like the 30s.
I don't understand. I grew up on Super Friends, so I grew up loving Spider-Man and Iceman. And I collected the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man.
Oh, is that all? That's the only Spider-Man?
Yeah. I mean, I had a few issues here and there, but I didn't have any runs other than the McFarlane one.
I read a ton of Spider-Man, but like the movies, I like them all fine, but they don't stick out to me as like these were great.
Yeah. Which character was the coolest? I dug Silver Surfer, but he scared my wife.
Wasn't Silver Surfer the one that came out as gay?
No.
What was the thing with Silver Surfer? Wasn't there some guy character that came out as gay?
He just looks really gay and all.
Yeah.
No, Jay. Wasn't there isn't there some comic book guy that came out as gay recently?
I mean, they said
Iceman.
Iceman, but it's I don't know.
Oh,
You don't even want to get into the It's horrible.
It's ridiculous. It's not even. It's like.
It's like a fake version of him from a million years ago, and it's meaningless.
Yeah.
a fake version of the fake character.
Well, it's the
Iceman,
original. We're getting like time displacement stuff.
Yeah, like a younger version of him comes who's gay, but the older one isn't, and I don't know.
Right.
So
it's
Iceman
ridiculous.
and Silver Surfer are different people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they do look similar.
I saw that actually. I watched the Fantastic Four movie, which is bad.
The new one?
The older one.
Oh,
Oh.
the older new one.
I saw the original. I didn't see part 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I haven't seen either of those two.
I saw part of that one also. I don't know why I saw those. It was. I think it was like on TV, and I just started watching it.
Anyway,
You know, the
coolest...
Iceman thing. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Totally
No,
good.
go ahead.
No, go.
I was just gonna say my coolest character is Iceman. He's always been my favorite.
Is that Iceman thing going on right now offensive? Like when you think about it, the 1960s version of the same character comes out as gay, but they basically say that the current day one, who is him grown up, is not gay. Are they basically saying that you can make yourself not be gay?
Well, didn't they imply that he might be, but he's like repressing it or in
He's
denial or
repressing it?
something?
It'll be more interesting if that's true, but I bet they just ignore it forever and move on.
He had like 20 girlfriends throughout the run.
Yeah,
They were-
never
they were-
never for very long though.
No,
Like he never was in much of a committed relationship, so you could make that argument.
It's kind of hard when people are trying to murder your girlfriend.
True.
I mean, he had
You know,
a hot Asian girlfriend, and then like they tried to murder her like for 20 straight issues.
and comes after immediately.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single edition of Iceman where they show him actually having sex with a girl. So
That is a good point.
It's rare.
William writes, do you guys know anyone in the military? I do. Let's see.
go on.
That was a weird thing to laugh at. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out where
I
you're going.
do. He's being shot at right now.
Oh, he's
Ah.
already dead.
I was just laughing at the complete silence after I answered it.
I thought the question was I didn't have any. I don't know anyone in the military right now.
Yeah, I don't
Military.
not anyone that counts that I know real well.
Not anyone that counts. Like
Yeah, I just discount the rest of them at that point. Like,
your wife's like, my brother's in the military. He doesn't count. honey."
Well, I know a guy who told everyone he's in the army, but he was like in the army band and he played like saxophone.
You know what?
It's like, I guess you're in the army.
Well, the thing is though, if he was like it was a time when we were in a war, I'd much rather be in the army band than actually be
oh,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. But, it's kind of like, are you in the army?
My
But if-
father-in-law was during Vietnam. He was like the head of what's the word for it? He was like the guy in charge of the food on a giant like aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first time I heard that, having the same thought of like, oh, that's like a super meaningless thing to be doing in that situation. But then like he told me a bunch of stories about it, and not that anything was ever like particularly dangerous about it, but even just the fact that he did that made me feel like less of a man. I was
Yeah.
like, well, he's still like on a fucking battleship. Like that's still way more intense than anything I've ever done ever.
Right.
Picking out like the chicken or the beef. Like that, it made me feel terrible.
Terrible.
For a little while. Yeah, I had a little period of sadness.
Yeah, it is. It's also like war. At the end of the day, unless I don't know how gung ho about war, it's really a terrible thing. So, if you're fighting for a cause, I get. But if it's like Vietnam, you're like, yeah, you know what? I would do anything besides actually go fight.
Sure.
And also, I'm not exactly lining up to go fight. Or I'm not lining up to go make food for people that are fighting. So.
But I'd be the worst person to put in a situation of like, you don't have a choice. We pulled your name out of a hat and you're going. Like, I couldn't mentally handle that. Even to be a chef.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, wherever you're cooking, you could still get blown up.
Yeah, I'm just not a very brave person at all.
No, me neither. I'm a complete pussy.
Listen, if you're gonna say, I know you guys have to draft me, and that's totally fair. I'm going to give away secrets I'm gonna actually try to find out something to give away to the enemy as fast as possible and get kicked out of this.
You're gonna Owen Meany it and cut off your finger.
If I even think I'm gonna get tortured, I'm giving away everything.
Oh, I'd be horrible at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they would walk within 5 feet of me, and that would be it.
I can't even lie about like if I went out to lunch at work. Like I can't even pull that off without like grimacing. So I'm not gonna.
Oh no, I just fear pain.
If someone's coming at me with pain, forget it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, Marc. How did you get such a sexy wife? What is your secret or best way to get women?
I do a podcast, and if you do a podcast, sexy women come to you. Next question.
Marc has no problems with black people. Look, I'll prove it. Marc, tell them how many rap parties you've been to.
Rap parties. I go to like one every week. I'm like, honey, I'm going gangster style tonight. Later, bitch.
What special talents do you guys have?
Podcasting. My special talent is to be asked asinine questions and answer them.
When a car is driving past, I could instantly tell if it's a 2 or 4 door car.
You know what? Tonight, I was driving back from Rosh Hashanah, and it was like an hour drive from Westchester, which is, you're in Alabama. It's just another suburb here. And I don't understand. Like, I moved
He grew
to
up
the
in
suburbs.
Jersey. He knows Westchester.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever. I forgot I forgot things that you guys have said earlier today. I was living in the city for like 11 years, barely driving, and now I'm back in driving mode. I'm driving home, and I'm like, why is everyone in this fucking road an asshole? There's so many people on the road tonight, and they're all like zigging out of traffic and like trying to cut me off on the right side of me and the left side. And I'm like, I'm driving at fucking normal speed. Why is everyone driving a car such a fucking dick?
Do you guys are they good at up there about like busting people who are like openly texting while they're driving?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't got caught yet.
I think it depends where you are. Like, there's certain areas of Long Island where they're like really strict.
Like I drive an hour to Tuscaloosa every day and back for work, and like I will pass no less than 10 people in a row who are texting, and all I can think is like, there's no chance I'm not going to die on this road in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's amazing how people just can't keep their face out of their phone.
Do you feel like Robert, your son's like 6 years away from you? So the oldest one 10?
He's 8, so I got a little.
8.
I got like 8 years ago.
I can't imagine even teaching my kid how to drive. I mean, it's gonna be an awesome thing, but like, I feel like there's just fucking terrible. Like, it's not that he can't learn how to drive. It's just that there's so many people that are texting or like doing their nails on the road, and they're gonna hit him with a car.
My hope, like I'm all. How do you feel about like automated driving?
I'm cool with it.
Like I'm really cool. I'm like with open arms welcoming that situation because I'm now convinced that that's just so much better for us. That even with like people hacking it and doing crazy shit, I still think like we'll be infinitely better off at that point. So I'm just hoping that happens by then.
There's so many times also when I'm driving, if it's late at night, I get like tired, and so I'm barely staying awake. It'd be like great to go, okay, car take over. Like tonight on the way, I'm like, we're leaving there. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm like, give me your strongest cup of coffee so I can make sure my family doesn't die tonight. I'd rather just like take a nap on the way home. It'd be great.
I've fallen asleep at red lights multiple times.
I want like a nice system where it's almost like cruise control, where it's gonna do its own thing unless I grab the wheel and decide to take over. Like that, even just that level of it would be amazing.
Kind of like an electric bike. You can do your own biking, and then when you need some help, you just hit the motor.
Yes, that's a good example. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be around by then. Because the other thing is I don't know if my son's generation's attention span is gonna like suit itself well to driving.
Exactly.
That would be great how you teach your son how to drive. You're like, okay, son, it's your big day. Teach you how to drive. Okay, you type in the address, and then you close your eyes.
No, he's gonna be like, all right. He's gonna basically mimic like everything he's learned from like the 10 seconds of driving in Grand Theft Auto that he's done. Like, oh, I'm just gonna slam down right trigger and just weave in and out of everybody. I'll be fine.
Or he'll be like, yeah, Dad, I'm gonna like. Is it okay if I Snapchat while I drive? Or what the fuck they go on?
Okay, let's get through all the rest of these questions in 10 minutes.
Okay, go.
People, stop saying Marc tries to stay away from black people. Marc, tell them how many Black Lives Matter protest marches you've attended.
So many. I was
Why is this a thing? I
have no idea, but I'll add to it. I was at the gym the other day, and I go to gym now. I've started going to the gym before work, once in a while, and so I have to take a shower before I get to the guy after my workout before I go to the office, and so I take a shower. I'm getting ready to go in the line for the shower, and some big black dude cuts me. He just walks in front of me and just like waits before me, and I'm like, I'm not really even I wasn't even really in a hurry, but I was like, should I say something? And am I not saying it because this guy's just bigger than me? I don't think I'm not saying something because he's a black guy. If he was a smaller guy than me, would I have said something?
Well, what conclusion did you come to?
I wasn't even in a hurry. I just let the guy. It's like I just sat there. Like the guy, he went in, and I took the shower right after him.
You said not even worth getting into.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck's going to cut me in line at the gym? Like, this makes no sense. Like, I'm going to get into a fight with this guy while I'm waiting for the gym. While I'm waiting for the shower.
I would have said something to no version of a human being in that situation.
I would have done what you did and bitched about it on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, I would have like angrily breathed behind him about the situation, and that's the best that could have happened.
Yeah.
If it was like a small Asian man, you think I would have been like, yo, dude, what the fuck?
It could have been a girl. It could have been
that would have been fucking amazing.
7-year-old girl, and I would have just shut my mouth and put my head down.
Yeah, I would have just stewed, and it probably would have turned into an anxiety attack about 4 hours later.
Right.
If it was an adult girl, this would have been a really cool gym I was going to. If it was a 7-year-old girl, it'd be the weirdest fucking gym possible.
I mean, just to take the whole anecdote a step further, I just won't shower at the gym at all because of problems like this. Like, I'm just going straight home and dealing with that problem.
And then I was like, the thing about it also was, I was like, maybe he didn't see me. So I'm going to be like, hey, dude. And he'd be like, oh, I didn't see you. And I'd be like, oh, I got all worked up about this for no fucking reason.
That could have happened. I will not shower at a gym.
Me neither.
So that means you won't go to the gym before work?
Nope.
Yeah, no. I used to go to the gym before work, and I would walk to the gym, work out, and then walk home and shower.
Go back.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, I'm now commuting in from the suburbs, and it's just like I have like some days I can, if I go in a little earlier, I have some extra time, and I'm like, I'll just get the workout out of the way. It is a little annoying showering at the gym.
I won't.
It's not ideal.
I somehow got through basketball and volleyball team in high school without having to take a shower. Like I
lived my whole life avoiding it. I know, and there's nothing. You should be very proud of the fact that you don't care about this. Like that is the absolute normal version of this.
Right. Yeah.
Steven apparently thinks I should have fought the guy. It wasn't something that like the thing also was I had just run, and so I was kind of like trying to like recover, like just stop sweating in general. So I was like, I'm not even really in a big hurry, but it's kind of annoying the guy cut me, but I don't know if he realized he cut me.
Rosero writes, can you live comfortable in New York City on $60,000 salary?
No.
Like living in Manhattan or like in the area?
I mean, yeah, I think in Manhattan, it depends. Are you comfortable in a studio that's a 20-minute walk from the subway on a 5th floor walk up?
With three roommates?
Yeah.
I guess the word's like it's like subjective. The word comfortable.
Yeah.
But generally, I think we can all agree New York City is an expensive place, and so $60,000 a year, you're really not necessarily living. You're getting by, but you're not exactly living like a great life.
Right.
Wait, so where are you both at? Someone's Long Island, right?
I am in I was in Manhattan for a long time. We just moved a month ago to Long Island.
And Jay, where are you?
I'm in Astoria, Queens.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love Astoria, but I think I got in right before the neighborhood blew up because I heard you can't get apartments for anywhere close to what I'm paying right now.
Well, can you live comfortably in Alabama for $60,000 a year?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean more than Manhattan for sure. Yeah.
Since Jay's girlfriend is Asian, where does she go for Chinese food? Are you just implying that all Asians are Chinese?
That's what I was thinking.
That was my follow-up question. Like, what exactly is she?
Because she's Thai, and she's not a huge fan of Chinese food. So
does she like Thai food?
Yeah, she loves Thai food.
Sure. Now you're in the appropriate area.
That would be weird if she hated her own culture's food.
That'd be really self-hating.
Yeah. Best food you ever tasted. Give a restaurant name if you can.
My best food I've ever had is the black beans I eat every night.
Yeah, Marc
now-
literally eats black beans like 6 nights a week.
What?
Yeah, it's really fucking weird.
Black beans.
Wait. This is super
You're
fascinating.
like, are you gonna gloss over this? This is fucking.
This is too good. Why? Like, in what?
I love black beans. I
Like,
basically.
But how do you eat them? You're like, you don't just eat.
I
a
use
bowl
my
of
mouth.
Black, you don't just like pour black beans into a bowl, heat it up, and eat it though.
Mostly, it's pretty similar to that.
You don't
I'll
put
melt
it
some
over
cheese
rice?
on there. I'll put a little either salsa or I've started doing lately hummus in there.
I would have put it over rice.
Yeah, I could do that also. It takes a little more effort to make the rice.
Or we'll do like black bean and corn, like on a tortilla with cheese, like that kind of deal.
Sometimes I'll have it on a tortilla, but in general, I have black beans 5 to 6 times a week.
That's too much.
Says you and
Wait, does your
human being?
all right? Do you? But
He's
this
like
for
so.
dinner?
You're
confused
so
by
baffled.
this.
no, I. This is like
I'm gonna
so
solve
in
this
my
mystery.
wheelhouse. I like this. What? But like, you're not like subjecting your family to eating that many times a week.
No, I'm not stuffing in my baby's face. Eat his beans. No, I just like I make that for myself and I have it.
Should I cue the I love beans?
Are
song?
you confused? We make separate food. I make separate food for my kids, and my wife makes her own thing. Sometimes we
No,
make
it's just
together,
it's so
like,
specific. It's like such a narrow. it's such-
they're really tasty.
No, I mean like I could eat like pasta 7 days a week and be perfectly fine. So it's not that different. I can literally say I've never heard of anyone that fond of black beans before.
I'm a rare breed. The black beans are really tasty. I bet there are a lot of Spanish people that like them, and there are a lot of Spanish people
That's
around.
so goddamn.
I
racist.
would bet any amount of money that if you went up to 100 Spanish people and told them how often you eat black beans, they would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like that's
Yeah.
too much."
Worst man in the street ever.
They're just gonna shake their head at you. You're right.
Sir, you look Spanish. I eat black beans 5 or 6 times a week. I have no question for you, but thank you for your time.
My favorite food. Lima, lento, soy, and pinto, navy, northern, and garbanzo, kidneys, and frijoles negros. I love beans.
Is that what you sing every day?
I would if I could sing.
Okay, let's keep the show moving. Dragon Ball Z is better than Marvel. Harry writes this. Dragon Ball Z is better than Marvel and DC. How can Jay not be into the most badass anime out there, Super Saiyan? I think Dragon Ball Z is terrible.
It's pretty weak.
It's just a bunch of people standing there, breathing heavily for about 20 minutes, and then they fight in super speed for like a minute.
I don't get that world at all.
I don't either.
Are you guys into anime at all?
A couple, not really. I liked Akira.
It's like the stock answer.
Yeah.
I liked the Kira like 20 years ago, and I probably wouldn't even like it now.
Yeah, when I smoked a lot more weed. I don't know. Vampire Hunter D was cool.
I don't even know what that is.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
No, I pieced it together.
Let's see. Why would Marc name his son Zachary? Your son already has your genes, so we already assume he won't be the most athletic type. Why did you give him a common-ass name? Why not some Egyptian badass name or a Greek warrior name?
Okay, first of all, naming your son after an Egyptian warrior or some like weird name that no one knows is not helping them in life.
No, it's not. That gets
Egyptian warrior is definitely not going to help.
That gets them
Like,
wedgies.
Yeah, you name your kid something weird like, this is my son Tecumseh. People are like, you are the worst parent alive.
No, you don't understand. It's an African warrior.
Yeah, I named my yeah, you need your name your kid something that's going to be not get them beat up every day.
Who do you know the guy who wrote that? Is that like a regular listener?
He's a regular listener. I don't know him.
Are
That's like
are
a weird-
surprised They remember the name of my son.
We get a lot of weird questions.
Yeah, no, I know we do too. It's like a weird scenario, this podcast shit.
It's like, hey, I think you're feeling a little too comfortable with me.
Yeah, like, your kid's name, it fucking sucks, and it's not athletic, just like you. Love the show. You're like, son of a bitch, what am I
It'd be
doing?
weird if he like said something and I'm like, wait, we never referenced that on the show.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That's odd.
Name a time you got ripped off or scammed and they found out about it too late. I mean, I've gotten scammed, but I found out about it.
Oh, I'm going to do Jay's answer.
Very quickly.
I'm going to do Jay's answer. There was that time I had paid a lot of money to get an advanced degree right now.
Yeah. I'm in for the long con right now.
It's horrible.
I don't know.
I can't wait to go into work in May and be like, I got my MBA, and they just give me like a thumbs up.
We knew you could do it, Jay.
Yeah.
High fives.
Sad slice of cake on your desk.
It's a leftover from the birthday party from the day before.
Yeah, it's Susie.
They're like, Jay, that's what you've been doing?
What's the best way to protect my comics? I want to keep them mint for several decades.
You've already asked the wrong people.
Light them on fire. Next question.
I mean, I have boards and bags, but they're not worth anything. If you're
Download digital torrent files.
Yeah.
They'll be fine for years.
Yeah, if you have a new comic, it's not going to be worth anything.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about getting into the Punisher. Where should I start?
With
Anywhere but the
Dolph
Punisher.
Lundgren movie.
I've read about 3 Punisher comics ever. Yeah, you should start with the X-Men instead of
You
the
should start with the
Punisher.
Dolph Lundgren movie and then watch the best of Dolph Lundgren, Master of the Universe. If you want to get into the Punisher, watch Master of the Universe.
I can't tell if he's serious about this.
Watch the movie. It's good.
Okay.
Isn't every Punisher comic just like him going, I'm a badass and just shooting people?
I always get like this weird urge to be in, like, you'll hear like, oh, Garth Ennis is writing the Punisher. It's like the grittiest one yet. I'm like, yeah, I should read that. And it's never different. It's always just exactly what you said.
Right. Ollie writes, football season has begun. How does Marc feel having a shitty football team with a quarterback who got knocked the F out?
Yeah, most of my teams are shitty, but the Mets are playing really well and we're going to the playoffs. So that's what I'm going to focus on right now. And the Jets won their first game. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Greg writes, you're the president of the USA for a day. What laws, rules do you want to implement?
You know, the president actually can't implement any laws, but go on. If we know anything about actually how it works.
Well, according to InfoWars, he's doing martial law on September 23rd. So,
Okay, you're a dictator, El Presidente for life for a day. You can change whatever law you want.
I
what
just
law do
watched
you
the movie The Purge. I thought that was pretty cool.
change? Do a purge?
Yeah, do a purge.
Why am I even reading Steven's message? Steven's like direct messaging me during the show.
I was telling Rob before the show that you cannot read
That's
and do a
exactly what you
podcast. See what I mean?
It's like a lot going on. Like, I had to give up. I stopped looking at the chat a little while ago because I just couldn't.
I'm like
figure out
typing back to the chat room. I'm like totally multitasking.
Okay, Rob, what law do you make? What one law do you do?
I don't like. I feel like all mine would just be like cheap ways to avoid anxieties I have in public.
Yeah.
And that's
So
not
make
really,
direct eye contact
that's not really
with
a
Rob.
like real thing that's gonna happen.
People can't look at me when I talk. That's a
Right,
law.
right. Can I like make all food interactions where I don't have to speak to a person?
Right.
Fat people can't wear spandex. Huh. Jay, what law do you implement?
I don't know.
By the way, Jay, if you were thinking about the time you got scammed, you want to go back to that when you got the LASIX?
Oh, that was a scam.
Wait, you had like a failed LASIX?
Pretty much. I'm wearing glasses right now.
Oh, that's horrible.
I was wearing glasses about 2.5 years after I got LASIK.
How much did well, I don't even want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. The math's not going to work out for you.
I don't know. It's-
the math of wearing glasses again.
Yeah, was it
doesn't add
more
up.
than $0? Then yes, I got
Oh
scammed.
no.
I also bought a bed for $2,000, and now I have back problems. So I get scammed all the time, really.
Wait, you have back problems from your bed?
Yeah. It's already like I bought an extra firm bed, and it's already like so soft that it's like hurting my back.
Beds are a bad deal. Like it's like the worst purchase to have to make.
We bought a bed. We bought a king bed recently, and we bought a kind of an extra soft king bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, am I gonna have back problems from this? But it feels so comfy being on it. I feel like everything. I don't know if
We
it's a bad
did the
thing or
same
not.
thing. King size, was that not the greatest switch up of your life?
Oh God, yeah.
It is pretty cool. Like I reached for my wife, I'm like, I can't even reach you.
I
That's
bought
what
a California king. I could roll over
Yeah.
like 3 times and not touch anybody.
It's like being in like a different county. It's great.
It's also nice if your kids jump in the bed with you. You're like, we actually have room here.
Yeah, it's still not great, but it's manageable. At that
My
point.
daughter likes to lie sideways, and
Yeah, that's
and,
kind of
and sometimes she can't get comfortable unless she's kicking me.
right.
Like she's kicking me, so I move. She starts crying and wants me to come over again, so she can kick me again.
The thing is, it's under warranty. Like if the bed sinks, you can replace it. But then they told me it has to sink 1.5 inches. Do you know how much a mattress has to sink 1.5 inches?
That's pretty significant.
Yeah, I think it's sunk 1 inch, which is enough to completely fuck up my back. I think I'm just gonna jump up and down on the bed every morning until it sinks the extra
And just
half
make
inch.
it sink. Yeah,
make
just
it.
like drop your dresser sideways on top of it while you're at work.
Yeah, exactly. I really think I'm gonna do shit like that because.
But that's like a horrible fucking phone call to have to make.
I already did,
Like
and
the
they
arguing about the depth of inches my mattress has.
they
sunk.
sent me like a self.
They know you're not going to do it.
They sent me a self-test kit, and it's basically a string and a piece of cardboard, and the cardboard stands up on the mattress, and you put the string across the mattress, and
on the back of the cardboard it says "fuck off."
Yeah, exactly.
Leave us alone.
But what I found out is they don't like when you go on social media because I posted, how stupid that was on Facebook, and I got a phone call the very next day.
And how did the
Just
phone
keep
call go?
doing it.
Well, the phone call was them saying, "I understand this mattress isn't working out for you, and it's not, it's not the 1.5 inches yet. You have another option." I'm like, "Oh, what's the other option? You could buy another mattress." Well, that's not a very good option, is it?
Hey, buy another one. Like we'll trade it out for another one.
No,
Like,
they said I could buy it, but they'll give me like the manufacturer's employee discount or something. I'm like, motherfucker.
but then you eat the other mattress.
Yeah, I'm like, I still owe $500 on this $2,500 purchase.
I'm
He's
sorry
like-
for your friend, but that is retarded. Like
like-
that makes no sense.
He's
at
like,
all.
yeah, but you could keep the box spring, so you only need the new mattress. So it only costs you like $800 after the discount. I'm like, so you sold me a shitty mattress and you want me to pay another $800? This is pretty much the worst deal I've ever heard.
Sir, this is how the scam works. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
I'm
go
pretty
with
sure you just described them saying "fuck off."
yeah. So I'm gonna go with your idea, Robin. Just put my bureau on top of my bed every morning when I go to work. Have you guys ever had to hide your internet history from your significant other? What I did is when my girlfriend moved in, I bought a new iMac and gave her my old one so that we have separate computers.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because we would be not a couple anymore if.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with a straight up yes on that one.
Yeah.
Who would you rather who would be the worst person in your life to see your internet history?
My mom.
My parents are all deceased, so I'll go wife.
Yeah, I go wife also.
Employer could be bad.
That'd probably actually be worst.
Yeah, that would definitely.
Like,
not
there's
be
like a
good.
vested interest at home, so I don't know how they would feel.
What if they said we'll give you $10,000, and then we're going to randomly pick someone in a different state who's going to see your entire internet history.
Randomly,
Randomly, we're going to randomly give it over to someone.
I'm down with that.
I would do that. Yeah,
It could get back to you, but
Don't care.
yeah. Honestly, like even the bad, like I don't know that. I mean, these are all things that we're kind of talking about right now and putting out there. So I don't know that we're like really highly susceptible to that being much of a problem. It would have to be like so locally presented to somebody that we just like know really well.
okay, so $20,000 and randomly pick a member of your family.
That's worse.
Yeah, no, that's much worse.
Probably not.
$50,000. We're going to post it to Facebook.
No.
No. That's
No.
like everyone.
100 grand if we're going to post it to Facebook.
No.
How much? 500 grand we're going to post it to Facebook.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm thinking I might do that.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing on
in it,
there
it's no big deal, but you wouldn't take 100 grand to post it.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of porn, but everyone is going to watch porn, so it's like
it has to be enough of like, it has to be that high enough level of like 100 grand versus 500 grand is like a gigantic difference. You know,
Yeah.
like one pays off your house completely and has you covered for a long period of time. At that point, you can just be like, yeah, that was there, but you're still paying your fucking mortgage and I'm not.
that was
Whereas-
totally an Alabama statement because here it's like that'll buy you
Right,
like a
I know, that's
one-bedroom.
like, you got yourself covered for a little while. But like that, to me, that's the big difference there. Is it's like life altering.
Right. Because I get the 500 grand, then I move to Alabama.
And then anybody who
I like
says
a
anything about my internet
bank.
history, I just unfriend on Facebook. Problem solved. How tall are you guys?
Let's see if we can guess each other's height. That'll be fun. I'm 5'11".
This confused me.
I was kidding. I was like, the worst thing we can do.
I think I'm 6 feet.
I'm 6'1".
All right.
Wow. That was interesting.
I know, like what's happening to that guy where he just thought like, I've got to know the answer to this like, thing.
Who's got more arm hair?
Count right now. We have 2 questions left. What does Rob think about the Iceman situation?
We dealt with that.
Yeah. And is Crossed worth reading?
Do you would you be down if Iceman and Silver Surfer got together?
No.
That would be odd. Yeah.
What if they got together, but that woman in Kentucky wouldn't marry them?
I would buy that comic.
That would actually be better than most plot lines in X-Men.
Yeah. All right. That is all of our gajillion questions.
Okay, I think that's it. What did we learn today?
We learned a lot today, I think. We learned how tall we are.
We learned a lot about Masters of the Universe.
We learned I have a shitty bed that I need to destroy further to get it replaced.
Yeah, I'd like to that should be something you should work on.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give you a how Jay's destroying his bed update. Allegedly, if anybody from Sleepy's listens to this.
You know they do. This is where that's our
That's all I need is to actually get to the 1.5 inch. They're like, nope, I downloaded episode 221. I know you did it on purpose.
I'm screwed now.
Voided
You're
your
like,
warranty,
on the
bitch.
one hand, it kind of sucked that they went out of the warranty. On the other hand, I met a listener.
Yeah. We're up to 9. Well, thank you so much, Rob, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun. That was great.
I hope we didn't keep you on too long.
No, I'm definitely at my haven't visited the restroom during a podcast limit. That after having done this, that's the biggest problem with a live podcast. Like I usually have to stop to go to the bathroom multiple times during our show.
Well, I took a stealth break during your baseball talk. So
See, that was a
it
good
wasn't
move.
stealth. You said you were leaving the room.
I didn't do that, and I'm like hard crossing my legs right now.
Okay, all right. Well,
It's not pretty.
Okay, we'll end the show then.
all right. Thanks again. Listen to Uncanny X-Cast. It's awesome X-Men podcast. You still got UncannyXmen.net going?
That is not us. That's that guy that we have on the show sometimes. UncannyXcast.com,
Oh, okay. .com.
which has almost no information on it. There's no reason to visit that website.
Okay, so just go to iTunes and download
Right.
the Uncanny X-Cast. And in the next 2 months, there'll be another episode.
There you go.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye.